Welcome to prime time, bitch!
All right, hello guys, what's up, and welcome to another episode of the Modern Goonies podcast. I'm your host, Trevor King Minor, and on the mic today, I've got my good friend Zach. Talk into the mic.
Oh, what's up?
And then I got my good friend Harrison.
What's up, partner?
So some of you might be wondering why we were gone for so long. We had to take a month off because October was just insanely busy for all of us. We had a bunch of birthdays coming up. We had a bachelor party. We had a wedding. It's just a lot, and we didn't really have any time to do it on Fridays or over the weekend. So sorry about the little hiatus, but here we are. We're back. We're going to try to keep going back to the every other week thing, but we'll see where it goes. So I guess we're just go ahead and get right into it. We were about to start talking about comedic movies, and then something got brought up. So what was it? Adam Sandler?
No, we were just talking about because I saw Joker last night, and one of the previews was for the new serious Adam Sandler movie, Uncut Gems,
by A24, right?
Dude, yeah. And I didn't know if you saw that either, and as soon as I saw that, my dick got hard.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, okay, Adam Sandler too, and it's a serious role.
There's one of the Celtics is in it too.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett.
Yeah. Dude. I've heard. I haven't seen the trailer until when we were in Massachusetts and we saw the Lighthouse. Mm-hmm. But I've heard about this role. People are like, dude.
I heard he was getting Emmy
roles.
Yeah, Emmy buzz or whatever.
So what? What's the movie? I haven't seen the trailer.
That's the beautiful thing about the trailer. It's not really. It doesn't take you very far into the plot. It's just like he's like a Jewish dude who is he's kind of like a behind the scenes bet placer for. It makes you seem like it's sporting events, but I don't know. Mm-hmm. But he's just like this baller guy, and you can tell that he gets out of control and he gets into. He
gets caught up in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's Adam Sandler, and he looks like in a serious role, and it looks so fucking badass. The trailer is so dope.
Have you ever seen Punch Drunk Love with Adam Sandler?
No, but I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, so the movie itself, it's one of those ones where Adam Sandler can still kind of play like a version of Adam Sandler, but he's kind of like this super awkward guy. It almost seems like he has autism. He's super awkward, and he has anger management issues. But yeah, no, he played a serious role in that one, and he did a really good job. He has the acting chops to do more serious things. So I'm surprised he doesn't do it more often.
That happens a lot with comedy. In fact, it happened with David Spade, and I heard he wanted to do more serious roles, but everyone only knows him from Joe Dirt and then Chris Farley stuff.
Yeah,
and then they put him out there to do Joe Dirt too, and it was such a flop. It went straight to Crackle.
It
was.
Oh my god,
dude, it was bad. It was also almost 2 hours long.
I didn't even know there was a second one.
It's horrible.
Well, Adam's. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but Adam Sandler recently did it was I don't know what you would call it. It's not a short. It's not a series, but it's I think it's a 4-part I think it's kind of like a mini series. Mm-hmm. But it's him, and I think it's Ben Stiller, and it's got who's the guy that plays Rain Man?
Dennis Hoffman.
I think he's in it. Dude, it's super good, and he's serious in that too.
This is where?
Really?
Yeah, it was on Netflix. I can't remember. Can you look that up real quick?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was Ben Stiller was the opposite guy because they're brothers. But it's crazy good. And so, yeah, I don't know why he hasn't done more either. Because I know that he obviously has the Happy Madison productions or whatever. Yeah. So I'm sure that those are the movies that he likes to do also, just goofy, have fun with your friends and make a funny movie.
Well, that's
is this it, the Meyerowitz stories?
Yeah, the Meyerowitz stories.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, insanely good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but
I think that's like what you're talking about though. I think that's some actors' just worst nightmare is getting stuck in that. Everyone knows you as this,
Right.
I feel like it's way too often it happens. But I mean, obviously some people are comfortable with doing it.
Yeah.
They just like comedy. But I see it Adam Sandler, he's branching out, which I think is great. Was it Jordan Peele? he's not acting, but I mean he's branching out, making movies.
Yeah, making horror movies.
Yeah, horror
of all
movies, which
things,
is
like
and he's doing Twilight Zone.
yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
Me either.
But I heard it's great. I heard it's really good actually.
Yeah, I heard it's good too.
Yeah, no. Well, a lot of these, a lot of these people get typecasted, and for a reason. Like, when you hire Adam Sandler, like you want Adam Sandler.
Everyone knows usually what.
Right.
It's
Yeah. But I mean, some people. I mean, fuck. Jim Carrey in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It was amazing.
Still haven't seen that since y'all gave it to me.
Oh, it's
but
great.
plan
And
to.
yeah,
I don't think I've
that
seen
was
it
one of
either.
his more serious. Oh, that movie's fantastic.
I heard it's really. Is it really sad?
Well, I mean, there are parts that are like legitimately funny and parts that are happy, but I'd say the overall tone is a sad one. Yeah.
Well, another good one is Robert Pattinson. He's been in a bunch of A24 movies recently, and this new one he's in, The Lighthouse, is really good.
I didn't know they had that many movies. I thought because
A24?
A24 was Hereditary, right? And
Well,
and
Midsommar.
Midsommar.
they're not just horror movies. I talk more about Hereditary and Midsommar because I draw more towards horror movies. But they've made I don't remember the names of them, but they've made a bunch of just like they fund almost any kind of movie. Like they have feel good movies, feel sad movies. They're just really indie films.
Yeah.
And they're just really good. They're really good about picking people who make great movies.
They're
Like, that's
actually-
what makes
yeah.
them really good. Like they're just really good at finding those people that need a spotlight. Being like, oh, that's good. Like Ari Aster was one of them, the guy that made Hereditary. He made a short called Strange Things About the Johnsons. It's like a 30-minute long mini short film. It's fucking fucked up, but it's a really good short film, and that gave him the spotlight. And A24 was like, okay, you could probably be pretty good.
Well, and I think that's like that sounds cool. And it seems like a lot of the time, if you're like a big movie company, you're like, okay, what is this character that I need? Okay, yeah, like will Leonardo DiCaprio do that role? Because I mean, he's kind of like a special case because I'm sure that no matter what they want him to do, he's going to be able to perform it well.
Right.
But like, it sounds like they are. I want this specific character, and then finding someone that is that character. That's who
Right.
that's what they can do. And that
Another thing also with Robert Pattinson was he's going to be the new Batman.
I saw
And
that.
a lot of people were using The Lighthouse as like a let's see how he is with acting.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, he the whole time he's speaking in like pirate like dialogue, which it sounds goofy, and a lot of the movie is kind of funny. Like the movie actually has some good humor to it, but like it's incredible. Like even Willem Dafoe, like he's really good with the dialogue. They stick.
Wasn't he the Green Goblin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In Reservoir Dogs as well. He's
I still haven't seen that.
Wait, he was in Reservoir Dogs.
Boondock Saints. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say
Boondock
what?
Saints. My apologies. I get those
No,
movies
you're
mixed
good,
up.
you're good.
But yeah, I mean Robert Pattinson had this like he was stuck with the whole I'm from Twilight, and then he hated that. Like he hates that fucking movie. And he talks about how he likes that it paid his bills and everything, but like he wants to move forward.
Sure doesn't hate it that much.
Well, I mean,
Fuck it.
He really hates the fan base
It's
like a
like
lot.
Journey probably doesn't like playing "Don't Stop Believing"
well, exactly.
anymore.
Yeah,
but
they want to. Let's move on. You know, like hey,
yeah.
Well, I mean, who wants to get stuck? Like, I mean, I feel bad for what's his name, Daniel Radcliffe. Who, I mean,
yeah.
he's just stuck. He is Harry Potter. Like people
guy who played
can't.
Spider-Man. What's his name?
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. Same thing.
Yeah, like you get stuck in it, and then no one like. I mean, that's what everyone knows you as, and it's kind of hard to see you outside of that role. Like for a while, like the Breaking Bad actor.
Jesse Pinkman.
Oh my God, no! Why can't I think? Bryan Cranston. Like he was the Malcolm in the Middle father.
Oh yeah.
And so, like, for a long time, it was really hard for me to take him serious as Walter White because I just knew him as the goofy dad. But then now he is synonymous with Walter White. Like, he's fucking...
I'd never watched Malcolm in the Middle before, so I really took it well.
I went in fresh.
But it's weird watching it the reverse way. Watching him
Oh,
in
I'm
Malcolm
sure
in the
it
Middle,
is.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit. It's like, damn, okay.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, it sucks that there's sometimes when those actors kind of get caught in that because, like I said, there's a lot of people with some pretty good chops. They don't really get to stretch it out. But back to A24. Yeah, no, they made that. They're like pretty diverse because they made The Disaster Artist.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
they
the
did.
movie, the movie that's about the worst movie ever, The Room. It's got James Franco, Dave Franco.
I haven't seen it.
Really good.
It's really good. It's great.
should-
It's like a comedy more than anything.
You should watch the actual movie The Room and then go watch.
Oh my
I've heard
God.
Is it bad?
Oh, it's horrible.
It's so bad it's good.
Yeah,
type of
it's
movie.
one of
Wait,
those.
The Room, isn't that the one with like the girl they get kidnapped and shit? And
No, this is like a super, like, I don't want to call it a cult. It's not a cult classic, but it's one of those like culty indie
It
movies.
became a cult following because of how bad it was, and the
Can you pull it
guy.
up? I want to see it.
The Room. Yeah, you probably won't know unless you've like seen kind of clips online. You probably won't know what this movie is.
Tommy Wiseau.
But
Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay.
But basically, so this guy, I don't know how he wanted to be an actor, so he just fucking made his own movie because he was rich as hell.
The backstory of him is very interesting too.
Yeah,
'cause there's a lot of unanswered stuff.
So he makes this movie, and he intended on it to be serious, but it was so bad. Like there were so many plot holes. The acting was absolutely terrible because he can barely speak English. Like his English is super broken, but he tries to act.
But he says he's from Louisiana, doesn't he?
Yeah, he said, he's not. He's
no
not
way,
from. He
no
finally
way.
admitted he's from somewhere in Europe, but dude, it was supposed to be serious, but it was so bad that like people actually view it as a comedy now because of just how utterly bad this movie is. And so they made a movie based on that, and a lot of it's true. And when you watch it, you're like, there's no way some of this shit can be true. This is just too outlandish, and it is. Like this guy's a fucking nutcase, but he's hilarious.
Apparently, the book written about the room goes in more depth about it too.
What
book
movie am I thinking
the
of?
book was I'm not sure, but the book was written by the guy that's the main character of that movie, the disaster artist, the one
Right.
that Dave Franco plays. It's written by him.
Right.
So, but
Okay, can you look up like pregnant kidnapped girl movie or something? I mean, it's like recent, and it's like this girl that like
okay.
gets, I think she like gets
Oh, shit,
kidnapped.
I put that in.
The dude rapes her. She has a kid when she's in like captivity, and they escape and like all this shit. And it's like, apparently it's really good. I can't remember the name.
Pregnant kidnap movie.
When you were typing pregnant in just now, I was thinking purge.
Am I parging it?
Am I pregnant?
Cord? That's 2000.
No,
Point Blank.
maybe just kidnap movie.
Well,
Maybe it won't come
that
up. I mean,
probably won't come up.
Well, if it's like a recent search,
The
it
Marine,
might.
John Cena.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ, dude! You know what? You know what's super
99% Rotten Tomatoes.
You know what's really weird to see. I see pictures and stuff of him now because I don't think he does more stuff outside of the WWE shit
Yeah.
now. And like he has hair.
His new hair
like
is-
It looks
he has,
so strange.
It
because
ain't
I'm
right.
so used to the fucking buzz cut
That ain't right.
Nope.
like yeah, it looks
I don't
super
like
off.
change.
Yeah,
I was talking to Viv about that the other day because we were watching. We were watching football, and he was promoting something. He was on like the Fox studio.
He's got this new movie out. It's like a fire.
Oh,
movie.
that's what it was. And yeah, he just.
weird.
I'm like, I need the fucking high and tight, and I need it now.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah, no, I can't take him serious like that. He needs to fucking shave his head again. But I don't know what else you want me to type in.
No,
have
yeah.
any other buzzwords you can give me for this?
You can just go. I'm pretty sure I can find it.
Okay. So have we all seen the Joker?
I have not.
You haven't.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I hate
that's
being that guy.
that's all right.
Okay, quick. How many out of 10?
I want to give it a good 8 to 8.5 out of 10.
I said 8.
8.5 out of 10. It's really good. I wanted to do a podcast with Mark and Chandler about it.
That's gonna be a dog fight, dude.
Yeah.
Because why has Mark? What did they disagree?
Mark just thinks it's the best movie of all time. And
Oh
it's
well,
not.
Chandler thinks it's a really good. I mean, I think it's a really good movie. Chandler thinks it's a really good movie. So I don't think we'll disagree about too much. But anyways, I wanted to do a podcast about it because I feel like it was something really interesting to address with, as Mark put it, how it was just a lightning rod for controversy, and like when you watch it, it's not as bad as everyone made it out to be. So I kind of want to discuss that a little bit. But since you haven't seen it, I don't want to go.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's called.
no, you're fine.
It's called Room. It's not The Room. It's Room. It's
Okay, well,
2015.
I could definitely see how that would get.
I mean, like I said, I don't doubt the movie's not good by any means. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is just a powerhouse.
The acting
Like,
was impeccable.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix is a bad dude. That guy
Amazing
deserves an
actor.
Oscar. I mean, fuck. First thing I ever saw him in was Walk the Line, and
Great
God,
movie.
it was
Amazing
fucking
movie.
awesome.
And then Signs. He's in Signs.
Yeah,
He's
he is. He's the
Not his best acting, but I mean, it's good.
Well, Signs isn't the best movies.
I kind of like Signs. It's a little.
yeah,
M. Night Shyamalan movies are kind of hit or miss.
yeah. For
Room
sure.
got 93% on Rotten
Okay,
Tomatoes.
Room. Interesting.
Yeah,
Alright.
I heard it's crazy good, but that's another movie that I'm sure it's really good, but it's just an absolute fucking beating to watch, and I don't.
Laney, what's that movie? Can I talk to someone off camera?
Yeah, that's
Is that
fine.
cool? Okay. What's that movie about that pedophile that takes those people underground? Something Bones? Lovely Bones? Have you ever seen Lovely
yeah,
Bones?
that movie fucks you up.
Oh,
Okay, so
dude.
the lovely, but
I don't know why I just remembered that.
I want to
That's
watch
off
it,
topic.
but I've heard that like the people who read the book like hate the movie because apparently they're like not similar at all. Which
Why don't you just watch the movie and don't listen to the fucking book purists?
Yeah.
on
Well, I mean,
everything?
that's where I'm debating. But I read a little bit of it, like a little bit. I think we read a couple chapters in, and it was kind of weird.
Imagine how pissed the people that had read The Shining were when they fucking saw The Shining.
Well,
yeah,
you and
it's
I,
like the best horror
Stephen
movie
King.
of all
okay,
time.
hang on. All right, here, let's go into this. All right, what do you do first? Do you watch the movie first, or do you read the book first?
I like to watch the movie first.
I can
That way,
read,
whenever
so-
I read it, I can see the actors that I am familiar with.
Yeah, no, you and I, we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but I can't, because I find myself doing that purist bullshit, and it's really annoying, but it's like, okay, when you read a book and it's like really good, and you're like, man, I can't wait to see that on screen, then they change shit, and like you loved it from the original format, like you're not going to like the movie as much.
Right.
So like if I watch the movie first, then I just kind of use the book as here's more information. It's like expanded.
Yes, that's the
So-
best. I think that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, however, the one thing that I hate about it is that you'll never be surprised from the book because you already know the twist in the movie. That's the one thing I hate.
Well,
But-
I mean, The Shining's different.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
completely
Shining's.
different.
No, I'm saying like with the like from the book to the movie.
Yeah,
it's
no,
different.
the two
Oh,
movies
okay.
are like, they're way different.
Like,
I mean,
there's
the book and the movie.
One of my favorite movies is Field of Dreams, and it's like a baseball movie.
Yeah.
And the movie is obviously I love it. It's awesome. It's like considered one of the best baseball movies of all time. And I read the book that it's based on, and the book is so fucking boring, like not even remotely close to as good.
Sports, but sports as like books is hard to sell. Like,
Well, I guess you probably have to be familiar with the story. Of
Well,
it.
yeah,
it's,
no,
it's
it's
less about baseball and more about like a bunch of other stuff. But
Yeah, but still, it had a cool.
Yeah.
It mixed.
or
them
Harry
well.
Potter too. Like Harry Potter the movie, and then I watched the movies,
Books
and
are
then I
pretty good.
watched the books.
Yeah.
They're on the same level. They're both really good, and they're not like
Yeah.
like you were saying. I would see a part or read a part. I'm like, oh okay, this wasn't in the book. This wasn't in the movie. This is cool. I like that I'm getting this little like treat.
Right. Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's nothing like super important that was changed or
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I'm the same way. And we talked about this a little bit, but like, for instance, Forrest Gump is actually based on a book.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and there are cases where the movie is actually better than the book, and Forrest Gump is one of them because, like, it does weird shit. So, like, for instance, the guy who wrote the book, like, the kind of person he had in mind was John Goodman, not Tom Hanks.
Can you imagine John Goodman talking like Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
Imagine Tom or John Goodman running.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah, so like there was that, and then like there were parts in the book that it was like he meets like these space chimpanzees and like a bunch of other weird fucking shit, and it's
Sounds
like,
like-
yeah, it's not as good.
Fucking
Dude, Forrest
2001:
Gump.
A Space Odyssey.
Forrest Gump is such a good movie. It's like
I love that
I forget
movie.
that that's like such a good movie sometimes because I've seen it so much.
That
It's
movie
so
is
good.
weird for me. I
Forrest Gump?
love the first half, and the second half for me really bothers me.
It's a pretty long movie.
It is.
Yeah.
Like the first half is like genius, and then like once he starts running, and then like the guy, all this dumb shit starts happening. Like the guy wipes his face, and it's like the fucking smiley face. Like you remember that scene where
Yeah.
he's like all muddy, and
It's
it
a
comes
smile
out as a
emoji.
perfect.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
Well,
what the fuck is happening?
well,
Dude,
right.
Why is this happening?
The very ending is worth the whole
Yes.
thing. It's so good.
Yes,
Like,
the ending is
so
good. That's what I'm saying. They just go off on a crazy tangent.
I think
and
they
he's
get-
like
yeah.
invests in Apple, and somehow
Miracle Man.
Yeah,
Well, I
and he's
feel
like
like-
he didn't know he has all this money. He's like some fruit company. It's like,
Well, I feel like
okay,
I feel like that's part of
why-
why the movie, because I feel like the movie is also like, it's tongue in cheek, and it's at certain points it's purposely very ridiculous. So I feel like that's part of it.
But I'm saying not until it gets to that point. Like the whole first half is just like an
Oh,
insanely
yeah.
good
Okay,
story,
yeah.
like an awesome movie. And then the weird shit starts happening, and then it like tapers off into a really good ending.
Y'all remember Tropic Thunder?
Yes.
yeah,
Remember
it's been a
Simple
long
Jack?
time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Robert
that's
Downey Jr. playing a fucking
That whole movie is insanely just unpolitically correct. Like it just.
That movie is awesome.
I'm so glad that movie came out when it did because it's. Oh man, that's such a good.
Been a
movie.
long time. Tom Hanks. Not Tom Hanks. I'm sorry, Tom Cruise at the fucking. He's the fucking disgusting. Whatever the hell his name is.
Why don't you take 2 steps back and fuck your own face?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was him until you said that.
Yeah.
Really?
Like.
I couldn't. It doesn't look like him to me.
In the
No,
face.
well, I didn't notice it
Yeah.
either, because I remember watching it. And I'm like, who the fuck? This guy's really familiar. Who is this guy? And I went and looked it up, and I'm like, oh my god, that was Tom Cruise.
Fun
Jesus
fact,
Christ.
and I'm probably about to get roasted hard for this one. I
Okay.
had no idea who Robert Downey Jr. was before, and I thought he was black.
That's
before.
Well, I mean,
No, I really did. I didn't know who. I've never seen a movie with him before. And then whenever he was white, I started realizing, oh,
was Tropic Thunder before Iron Man?
It was like the same year.
was it?
Oh,
Yeah, I think they were both
Oh.
2008.
I mean, he had movies before that were a big deal. Like he played.
I'm sure. I haven't seen any of his older ones.
Yeah, I mean, I was a kid when the movie came out.
You guys ever seen Chaplin with Robert
I was
Downey
gonna
Jr.?
say he plays Charlie
Oh,
Chaplin.
he did fucking fantastic, and that was like Robert Downey Jr. 90 Days, where what was it?
He was on the fucking.
Everything.
Where he was fucking
Yeah.
just losing his mind. Yeah, so that's 2008, and then I know Iron Man is 2008, so yeah.
That's another guy. I'm glad he's out of. Spoiler, out of Marvel technically now, because he's dead.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Um,
But like, I think that branches him out to make more movies.
Dude,
too.
Robert, he's such a
Yeah.
great actor. He's phenomenal. Have you ever seen? You would really appreciate this movie. Have you ever seen The Judge?
No.
Oh my god, you would love that movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, but basically, so Robert Downey Jr. is kind of like this hotshot lawyer, but something happened. Oh, his dad was a judge for a long time, and he's in a hit and run incident. Like he runs over this guy, the dad does. So Robert Downey Jr. comes back to his hometown to basically help his dad, like help represent his dad, but also kind of help him out because like he's getting older and shit. Through the trial, and I mean, it's just kind of like this. He was this kind of neglected son, and like the father just being a fucking total hard ass for like no reason. So it's kind of like what's that? Estranged, yeah. Like it's kind of like this estranged relationship that he comes back to. And it's a phenomenal movie. I fucking love that movie. It's great, and he's fantastic in it. So
This is one of the things I hate. Like, even with streaming and everything, like, it's so hard to just like. I want to watch this movie. Like, there's Google Play where I think it's like, a lot of movies are like $2.99 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, there should just be some company that has all the fucking movies, and then you can watch the fucking movies. Maybe it's like a one-time charge, like a rent thing. Like, Google Play has it, but, like, I just recently tried to watch the fucking Star Wars series because I wanted to get caught up on it, and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, $20. I'm like, no. Not gonna happen. Like
Wait,
Amazon-
$20 for like one viewing of the movie.
no, like you couldn't rent it. You
You'd have to
had
buy
to
it.
buy it like digital download.
Amazon's almost there with that because we have Prime and it's great, but like Amazon literally will have anything. I mean, just like their store, like they
Right.
like for movies, anything you can find, any B horror. You can go from B horror movies to political documentaries. I mean, it's a wide range. I'm assuming you could probably get any movie you could think of. But the problem is, like you said, like Star Wars. I try to watch Star Wars actually on the PS Store and Amazon. It's just like you got to buy them.
Well, yeah, that's
like-
fucking Disney and shit though. It's-
Well, they're also they're coming out with
stupid
their,
as fuck.
their streaming thing.
Disney owns everything now. Like they
Yeah,
are
they
they
do.
are the world. Disney.
media and media.
I think they own the Xenomorph.
Just
now.
think about anything. They
Yeah.
own it.
No, straight up. I think I heard something
ABC,
ESPN,
ESPN.
Lucasfilm, Marvel.
Disney owns Marvel.
about that. Yes.
I didn't know
Dude,
that.
they're a powerhouse of a company.
Yeah, they own. They own so much. There's so many other things they own too. But those are some of the biggest names, like Star Wars and Marvel, and Disney owns both.
You're
like,
taking
holy
over the entertainment,
shit.
dude. Like,
Yeah.
They put out Marvel movies every fucking 4 months.
Dude, it's just
then-
Yeah.
an absolute entrenchment of fucking like
I'm sick of this
media from them. Like Vivian watches Dancing with the Stars, and so I'll watch it with her, and we'll be watching it, and it's on ABC, and on ABC, on Dancing with the Stars, they will have a Disney night where they fucking do like dances that are based on Disney fucking movies,
Right.
and so it's just like, oh, I am watching ABC and I am watching Dancing with the Stars. Ooh, I remember Cinderella, and fucking ABC's just stroking their fucking dick, or Disney just stroking it behind the fucking veil.
Raking in all the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really like crazy. Like
I honestly have
brainwash.
no idea how they're able to do that. Because at what point are you considered a monopoly? That
I mean, I feel like they are.
well, they are. But that's the
Like
thing. But
Fox and fucking now with all the streaming things, I feel like there's going to be a big shift because ABC has to do that.
They own National Geographic too.
ABC?
No,
Or Disney.
Disney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what what Netflix has been doing and like putting their original content that they've been putting out and stuff. Like, I mean, I guess Disney is trying to do this new thing or whatever.
Oh, they are, and they basically are like taking all their shit back, and like that. It's not just that. It's become like this domino effect because everybody wants to have their own streaming service now. So now all of these things that have like very specific. So like Friends is owned by what is it? But some company or whatever. Well, they're doing their own.
Wasn't it HBO Max that got Friends or something like that?
No, it's like I can't remember which one it was, but one of the companies, and it's like, no, well, we own Friends and we're having our own streaming thing, so now you can only get it on ours, and so like all these things are kind of getting plucked.
They're ruining it for everyone.
Yeah, because everyone wants their own, and now it's like, dude, I'm not gonna fucking subscribe to 20 different streaming services just so I can watch Friends.
Well,
like this is horseshit.
They will learn that soon. No one is going to buy, and well, somehow HBO has survived on it because I don't know if you have HBO or you've seen HBO in the past like 20 years, but HBO outside of the exclusive like let's say Game of Thrones or fucking Entourage whenever it's popular or whatever, the movies on there, if you just are like bored on a Thursday night and want to turn on HBO, it is fucking terrible. Like the movies are like
outdated as hell.
Like they have like shit on there that's like what's it called whenever something is like or syndicated. I swear, you can still turn on today. There will be The Medallion with Jackie Chan from 2004.
What the fuck?
Or I think it's before that.
Even the commercials sometimes, like not the commercials, but like before the movie starts again, they have like a little, and now from like our sponsors or something. Like even it's like 90s like kids reading like,
that's weird.
Don't do drugs. It's like, how old is this? Like,
I never had HBO.
It's
so
weird. It's weird. It is weird.
I've only ever seen it from like when I've gone to people's houses and they had HBO. Like I've watched some shows that were specifically like Sopranos and Boardwalk Empire that like eventually pop up on other things.
What I'm saying. That's the only thing that fuels them, and so I guess that is kind of like a proof of concept because clearly people are going to, if they really love a show, they will buy the whole service just to have access to that one show. That's what they've been doing with Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones has just been buoying that fucking HBO because that shit is trash.
Well, HBO. I mean, I don't know. It's like anything. Some of these channels make like really good original content. Like Netflix is really good with their original movies and their original TV shows. HBO, their shows are fucking great. Showtime, not so much. They kind of fucking suck.
Well, they even have some that some people really like.
Like Dexter. Like there
Weeds, I think, is another one.
And
Californication, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. One of the things that I just noticed, I don't know if they just added it recently, and this is maybe a smart move on their part, but Breaking Bad is still on Netflix, but it says Breaking Bad, and then in the corner it says AMC. Like it has their logo on there now. Well, so I'm thinking that maybe that's an angle.
Well, FX does that too. FX, like with Sons of Anarchy, was that way.
An American Horror Story.
American Horror Story.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's the thing that kind of worries. So take what they just did with. Have you seen the Breaking Bad movie that they put on Netflix? So, I want to ask you about that in a minute. But so take that, and that's something that kind of worries me. So say I'm like a huge fan of Breaking Bad, right? But say I'm like an avid Hulu subscriber. That's where I get all my shit from is Hulu. And I fucking binge watch all of Breaking Bad. I goddamn love it. And then it's like, hey, here's this original movie you can only fucking see on Netflix from your favorite show. It's like, well, I don't want that to happen with like fucking, I don't know, like name something, Rick and Morty. I have no idea. It's a show that I love. Like, I'm grateful that I had Netflix and I was able to do it, but I don't want to have to then go out and buy like a Hulu subscription for a show that I watched when it was on air. Like, oh, hey, here's this original Dexter movie only on Hulu now. It's like, okay.
Well, see, Hulu has been kind of in that. Well, Hulu, there's like a package Fisk was talking about where it's Hulu and the Disney Plus thing.
Yeah.
And like they're coming together to do that. I think that's a good idea because like I feel like at this point, like you said, when you spread out, it becomes where you're just spending endless money for streaming services. Yeah. Like me and Lainey, we have Prime, Netflix, and Hulu. And, I mean, at that point, you don't really need much else. Like we literally don't even have cable because we have endless things. Like we don't need to do anything on cable. But we were talking about Disney Plus because there's a show coming on called The Mandalorian that I really want to watch. It looks amazing. Same. And I was worried though because all I saw was like, oh, but Disney Plus comes with ESPN Plus, Nat Geo. I'm like, I don't need that shit. I just really want Disney Plus. But then they were saying, well, Hulu is merging with them it's like a $14 deal a month. I'm like, that's a hella good deal.
Oh, great. Disney's going to own Hulu in the future.
Well, no, it's like Hulu.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like,
you should
yeah, I
Google
know.
it. Maybe they fucking already do.
Probably. They probably
There
own
are
everything.
Disney movies.
Because
on Hulu.
how do they do a partnership like that? That seems pretty weird.
Well, there's Disney movies on Netflix too, though.
Yeah.
There's actually a large amount of Disney movies on Netflix. Now I think about
Well, I
it.
mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of content from a bunch of different, channels and
Right.
media networks that are on Netflix or on Hulu or whatever. It's because they have those deals. Like, okay, we'll give you the rights for a
Right.
little bit, and you can have the show on here. And it's up to their discretion if they want to renew those rights or not. That's why Friends is getting taken away, because they didn't get a chance. Of course, they would have kept it, but they didn't get a chance to renew it because they're taking it back from their network.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I know. Well, I think I can't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure Friends was like over 100-something million in order to get on the thing, just to have the rights to it. And I think
maybe.
Seinfeld was over 100-something million.
Yeah.
Damn, those shows.
Yeah,
like Friends.
Seinfeld fucking sucks.
Yeah, Seinfeld's trash.
I don't really, I don't get Seinfeld's humor, so
Yeah, because Jerry Seinfeld's just not funny.
No, he's not.
yeah.
What
He's a
about
fucking
airplane
dick.
food?
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
he is a dick.
Anyways, so
Shut
I
up,
wanted
Boomer.
to have you seen Breaking Bad, Harrison?
Yeah,
I want to talk
Camino?
about.
yeah.
So
I watched half of it, but I gathered that it's just an extension of. You have seen it too, right?
Yeah.
Zach?
I
I
just wanna
gathered
talk about that
it's
for
an
a minute.
extension of just the last episode.
okay, so,
So I
yeah,
didn't watch
all right.
it.
So
I
Zach,
watched
what'd you think about it? Give me your opinion about the El Camino movie.
I thought it was good. I mean, it's like I think that the Todd thing was kind of funny because it's like I guess did they just plan poorly that they couldn't
Planned
poorly.
demand
Planned
that
planned
he
poorly.
fucking lose weight or
Breaking Bod.
Yeah.
Fucking dude. Yeah, no, yeah. Todd fat is
breaking
fucking
the scale.
dude. Yeah. No. So I mean, but you liked it overall?
No, yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, like, what's his butt is always good. The guy
Aaron
who plays
Paul?
Jesse. Yeah, he's really good.
Dude. Yeah. So I watched it and my opinion of it, I really liked it because I like Breaking Bad. But it's just watching an epilogue is really all it is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's something we could have lived without. Like, we could have kind of pictured something like that in our heads, anyway. So the story wasn't really necessary, and it didn't really do a whole lot.
Right.
But if you're like a big Breaking Bad fan, it's really cool to see kind of like, all right, where does Jesse end up? And
It's
like,
just a treat, I think.
yeah, no, for sure. And
only-
also the like the flashbacks are like really good scenes. It's like, okay, that's cool. And the movie was beautiful. Like it looked fantastic. Like the I don't know what color grading they had, but every time they were in the desert and just it was that bright orange. Like it looked fantastic.
Yeah. The only thing for me, and when I say this, a lot of people are like, well, duh, he was dead. But, like, they didn't necessarily confirm that Walt was dead. And there was a lot of theory saying, like,
Right.
the medication he was on would, for some reason, like, he would bleed out slower or something like that. I'm like, that's probably digging too deep. But I was just like, look, they didn't necessarily say he was dead. Even though he got fucked up by that gun, I'm just saying they didn't say he was dead. That's all. And like Breaking Bad does, hanging on things is what makes their... Not that their show was ever bad, but they left you hanging for probably a reason. Sorry, my phone's vibrating.
You're good.
Yeah. I keep
So-
doing the same thing too.
Anyway, so like I said, I mean, for me, I like that it confirmed that he was dead because I was like, what I don't want to happen is this movie come out and he's like, oh my god, he's fucking alive.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
that would have just ruined it. So I'm like, I'm hoping he was dead, and it did. So it's like, okay, they got that out of the way really quick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. Now let's move on. Let's talk about this cool story.
Well, that's what I really like about the Vince Gilligan guy is that he knows how to start and stop stories. Like he never does too much because he's one of those dudes who's not like, or what is it like? I can't think of the saying, but basically you don't want to show too much or you don't want to explain too much for your audience. He's one of those kind of guys, and I really appreciate that about him because he's fucking great at it. Like, do you guys watch Better Call Saul?
No.
No, I heard it's good though.
Oh, it's great. It's
My dad
fantastic.
watches it.
And the thing is that it's good, but it's for entirely different reasons that Breaking Bad is good. Like, it's a completely different show, but it's in the same universe with the same, base characters, and like the writing is just so different. And the guy, I don't know, the guy's just really good at
What
at
time
making-
frame is that set though? Isn't it like before all the stuff?
It's the story of how Saul came up and during the process of the whole Breaking Bad movie or show.
Well, so it's
Is
set.
it pre-Walter?
It's set before Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
It's set so like Breaking Bad happens in like 2008, and the show's set in 2002, 2003.
Okay, yeah.
So
that makes sense.
it's basically just it's getting Saul to the point where he pretty much is the fucking mall lawyer. Everybody knows him with the shitty infomercials. Saul Goodman. Like it's telling his story up to that point.
Yeah, that's dope.
And
Yeah.
it's
Doesn't
really
it
good.
have the chicken dude in it though, right?
The chicken dude? Oh yeah, no, it's got
Yeah.
Gus. No, there's
Gus.
plenty of, I mean, not just nods and winks, but like full on arcs from Breaking Bad in it. Like Gus, like it kind of shows how Gus became Gus too, or like when he was just starting off, because there's some elements from Breaking Bad, like the
He eventually meets Tuco. Like
he like runs into
Tuco.
Tuco
It's
in like
great.
the first episode. And
that was
then-
pretty good. I'll admit
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
It shows what's his name, Gus, like meeting with Lydia, the German representative girl, to buy the place where he does the underground laundromat and whatnot.
I was just about to mention, like, you brought the Lydia thing. They should have made a statement before El Camino and said, if you have not watched the show in a while, we would recommend you watch the first season.
Aaron
again.
Paul did that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. There should have been a fucking disclaimer on the intro scene or something, because
Well, they did like a small recap thing when you went to watch the movie.
not at all helpful. Like, not even close. Like, I had to read a plot synopsis on my phone and try to, because I didn't remember like 80% of the details of the last season.
I had to watch Breaking Bad. I watched Breaking Bad twice. And what I realized when I watched it the second time is that there were so many things I fucking forgot about. Like so many, because I thought I understood the plot, just like a very baseline of
Yeah.
it all the way through. But then I went back and watched it. And I'm like, man, there's so many things I didn't remember at all. Like I was still like on the edge of my seat, even though I know how it all ends.
Yeah.
But I had that. That was pretty fresh in my mind though, because I rewatched it like a year ago, to where I was able to remember most of the details. But
Yeah.
I could, if you haven't seen it in a while, you could definitely get lost, like easy for sure.
I don't know. It was super confusing, but and then they would like bring up another thing, or like some character, or like bring up something that happened, and I'd have to I'd pause and I'd go like read like what happened again, because I forgot completely like the whole thing with Lydia or whatever, and then like something happened with like someone got poisoned or something, and I don't even remember that at all in the movie.
It's about
or in the show.
Jesse's girlfriend.
No. I think, didn't he poison Lydia?
Yeah,
Like she drank
that's
the
how- that's
coffee
how-
or whatever.
mhm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Completely forgot about it.
Yeah, no, that I mean, I know. Yeah, that's one of the small. There's a lot of small details in that movie that they just like slightly mention something that where it would go right over your head if you didn't remember it from the.
I think
from
it
the
was
show.
like kind of. I think they kind of assumed that if this movie was anticipated, it was probably diehard fans.
Well, didn't they not really? There was no real build up. It was like Aaron Paul said something like very, very cryptic like a couple weeks before, and then it was like him and Cranston like saying like, yeah, this is out.
And
I
then-
thought the whole point of it was that they were just wanting to surprise everyone. Like
They-
no
yeah.
one even knew that Walter White was going to be in it. No one
Yeah.
thought he was going to be
No,
in it.
they
That was a
kept it-
big plot. That was like a big surprise.
They kept it under wraps like
Right.
for a long time, and then the only thing that he announced this is happening, and then shortly after it was the trailer where it shows Skinny Pete. He's talking to the cops, and then so it's like, okay, shit, it really is like, and it's already made. Like I don't think they really gave too many details on it. I think they tried to keep it as secret as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, because like you said, that movie's more like a treat than anything. It's not like this fucking gonna be the slam blockbuster. It doesn't necessarily even have like the greatest plot to it, but it's just like, if you like the show, you like this little epilogue we made for you. So
Yeah.
I see why they would take that route.
Sometimes I kind of just, like you're saying, it's like a fun thing for fans, but sometimes I just kind of think that there's too much info too. It's like, I don't think anyone I don't know if this is like a spoilers thing, but I don't think anyone needed to know that Jesse like went to Alaska and like started.
No,
over. It's
see
like,
that was yeah.
If you see him driving off in the fucking El Camino and he breaks away screaming and shit and whatever, and he gets off, and then the fucking show ends, it's like, then you can imagine like, man, like I wonder what what happened to him and all that
No,
stuff.
yeah, I completely agree, and that was probably one of my biggest issues with the movie is that like I said, I felt like it was a story that wasn't needed. Like it still kind of left it in a good point. Like it didn't explain too much. Like just kind of shows how he got away, but you don't really know what happens after that. But no, yeah, I feel like a lot of people kind of get hung up on it. I mean, if it's something you really like for instance Breaking Bad, like man, you just want more of it because it's so great. But then you have to kind of rein that in, because too much of a good thing is you don't want to ruin your like Star Wars. Like Star Wars is a perfect fucking example of this.
Yeah.
It's like you have the original trilogy. Oh my god, that was fucking great. It's amazing. I fucking want more. You announced the prequels. It's like, yes, the prequels weren't good, and then you're like, shit, I wish they would have just left it at what it was, because that kind of ruined it a little bit. But then you're like, all right, whatever. And then announce a whole other trilogy, and like you love Star Wars, so you want to love it, but at some point it just becomes too much.
So you think the parts 1 through 3 set it up for failure?
I don't think it set it up for failure. I just think that, I mean, there comes a point where you're just beating something over the fucking head. Like,
oh yeah, no, it's ridiculous, and it makes me angry.
Like,
it's just a greed thing.
Like,
it
you
has
have
nothing
yeah.
to do with wanting to create more artistic. There's no more artistic expression that people are just dying for in this series. It's like a major company is saying, "Hey, we want to have McDonald's doing fucking the Star Wars." Kids meal toys. We want the fucking Star Wars memorabilia in every store. We want Star Wars themed fucking things on Dancing with the Stars. We want Star Wars themed Big Mac. We want everything. And they're going to pick some fucking guy and he's going to generate this movie. And it ends up being shit.
Yeah.
And like that, I've only seen the one Star Wars movie, but it's absolute dog shit. And it's like, Fast and the Furious 12 is out this month. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah. I can't wait to see another car chase off of another exploding bridge.
Right. I agree with you on the whole picking like directors that just make it bad, because I feel like, being a huge Star Wars fan, I feel like, J.J. Abrams, Part 7 was going to be good no matter what, because no one had a fucking clue they were going to make another Star Wars like set of movies. So when they dropped it, immediately people were like, the hype was real. I admit I was fanboying about it. But Part 7 was, I thought, okay. I didn't think Part 7 was bad.
I liked Part 7.
I think
Part 7 was fine.
Part 7
not the one you
Part
saw.
7 could have been Luke taking a shit, and it probably would have been, people would have been like sick. But like either way, I thought Part 7 as a whole was good. Now, whatever the director's name is who did 8, it took me
Rian
a lot
Johnson.
of fanboying to stop and realize how shitty it was.
Is it Brian Johnson?
Rian Johnson.
Oh, I was like,
He did. I've come to the conclusion he did absolutely worse than Part 1, Episode 1. It's worse than Episode 1 to me.
Wait, you're talking about the Jedi one? I'm sorry, The Last Jedi? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, I thought you said you liked The Last Jedi.
I did for a while.
Okay. Well, yeah, because
I know. That's what I was explaining.
Okay.
Sorry if I explained that wrong. There was a lot of you guys trying to tell me it was bad, and when y'all were telling me that, it was still out, and I was just, again, I had to accept I was fanboying. I really was. Like, I was like, look.
Oh, okay.
I can understand that Leia has the Force, but here's the problem with it: is the delivery of it was wrong.
It was.
God.
Now,
yeah.
here's the
I would
thing.
say so.
Here's the thing: if you search hard enough, there are hints that Leia has the Force. Believe it or
Well,
not.
no, she does.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the Force is kind of nodded at the Force is in everyone, but as in learning how to use it is one thing. So that's where the problem comes in. Is where so you're just gonna show that Leia knew how to use the fucking Force and didn't do anything but prehand.
What
And
about
that's
the
where the
Force
problem.
hologram thing?
Where Luke?
Yeah.
Oh, Luke's character, they murdered Luke, and I have come to
Yeah.
the conclusion of that too. Yeah. Like when they started off on Episode 8, where he's like, they're at the cliffs, and he just like that's it. He just threw his lightsaber. That he. Okay.
The whole point of the first movie to get to him, and that's what they do.
He's training Rey and tickling her with a leaf, and he drinks the fucking milk. Like I've come.
That to me was one of the funnier parts of the movie.
Here's one more thing. I will say, what I do like about Star Wars currently is the subtle humor they keep throwing in the movies is good. Like that's intentionally humorous, like just like Chewbacca fucking with Finn. Is that his name? Where they're like in the ship and he's like trying to take control of Chewbacca and he's like fucking fighting him back, and he's like, it's just little subtle humor that they add in. It's kind of funny because I think they're at one point it's too much seriousness. Like Episode 2, there shouldn't be humor in it because Episode 2 is about the political side of it and the war that happened, which is not my favorite, but it's one of my favorites.
Okay. So I know this is sidetracking, but I need to know this because Chandler let me borrow his set because, like I said, I wanted to catch
the
up.
whole saga.
Yeah.
Okay.
So should I watch it 1, 2, blah blah blah, or the order of release?
No.
Order of release.
Order of release.
I would never.
So
I would never tell a new Star Wars fan to watch it in like the technical 1 through whatever order.
Because that's the way that the DVDs are laid out, which I found weird.
Watch 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then watch the new trilogy.
Here's what I'll tell you. 5 and 6, like the best Star Wars movies in my opinion.
What's
2,
yours?
4 and 5.
So 4 and 5, or I'm sorry, 4's, I mean, that's the original. Like, people are going to love that one. But 5 and 6, to me, are my favorite, including 2. Mainly because there's so much action that happens.
Didn't a lot of
in 2.
people not like 2? That's Clone Wars, right?
1 and 2 is, like, the most hated. 3 is almost there because the acting. The acting in 1, 2, and 3 is notoriously
I thought
bad.
3 was, like, really, like, hyped
Dramatic.
up. Like,
It was dramatic.
a lot. Like, that. Whenever that one came out, places were closing down.
So I don't like to defend because the prequels, episode 1 and 2, 1, you know, it's not like the worst thing, but it's not really good either. 2, I fucking can't stand. 3, I will defend 3. I like 3. 3 to me is a good one because 3 is fucking like 3 goes fucking balls to the wall with the action. It shows
that's
much
when
like
you see Darth Vader become Darth
yeah,
Vader. Right?
to
Where he
me,
gets
I
burned and
mean,
all that
yeah,
shit.
I think now there are still. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of stupid fucking things in that movie too, but I actually like 3 a lot. Like I really like number 3.
Only thing I'll say, shitting on 2 and 3, Hayden Christensen's awful.
Oh no, he's terrible.
He's a goddamn
fucking
terrible.
terrible.
Is he Anakin?
Yes.
Well, and you know what? I'll defend him a little bit because he's not a bad actor. It's just whatever was.
If he
written,
never talked, great.
Yeah, dude. No, the writing is horrible because
yeah.
he sounds like a spoiled. And like, if
If
that's
it-
how it was written, then I feel bad for him having to play that
I
because
hate
it was.
that Qui-Gon Jinn was killed. He was great. That only good part about episode 1 was the fight scene in Qui-Gon Jinn with Darth Maul. That's it.
Yeah.
Like Jar Jar Binks, fucking. I mean, I don't even need to explain. But like, 2 for me, because I feel like it gets underappreciated because it talks more about the politics, like about it. And I know that's like, but there's war to it too. And I'm a big sucker for Jango and Boba Fett. So like, I think the storyline behind Boba's dad is cool. I think it's, you know, showing more Jedis and like his name's Kit Fisto, the alien looking dude. Like, there's lore behind him, like in the Clone Wars, the animated series.
Yeah.
So underrated.
Oh
And-
no, that one's really
and
good.
the reason 3 pisses me off is because he gets killed off like it's nothing by Sidious.
Yeah.
And Sidious is, even though he's a good character and his development is really good, it kind of just, it talks way too much about Sidious. And I mean, I guess they have to, but I just didn't like.
Yeah. No, like I said, there's plenty of dumb things in 3 too. I'm not gonna
I mean,
like.
the prequels are riddled with them.
Well, yeah, no, the prequels in general just aren't. They don't hold.
Yeah.
They don't hold up to the original trilogy. Like they just don't have the same.
But
But
3,
anyway,
yeah.
point of the matter, I don't want to dive too much into fucking nerd out Star Wars stuff. We'll alienate half of the people watching. But the 5 of them watching.
That's a whole separate podcast that should happen.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Star
no,
Wars.
for sure. But yeah, no, definitely watch Order of Release because you're gonna get more glorification of like watching. Okay, hey, I'm starting, you know, here later on, and then like it all comes full circle. You get more satisfaction from it coming full circle than you do watching it just in the correct order.
If you want to be true to the Star Wars thing, watch it 1, 2, 3, blah blah blah. But if you want to watch it from best film, start early.
Well, I mean, I think that to have the experience that Spielberg intended, you should do it in the order that it was released.
It really won't confuse you that much at all.
So like, it should be 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it won't confuse you.
I
at
would,
all.
you'll be perfectly fine.
Well, I would hope not.
It's
That
not like
would be
Lord
the
of the
whole
Rings.
point of like, if it
Yeah.
is confusing, then why wouldn't they just start from 1?
Yeah.
It's not like Lord of the Rings where you have to dive real deep into it. Like, and even then, you don't really need to dive too deep in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. No.
Has anyone ever done that since? Like, released who starts with the 4th? Or was it even called that? It was just called A New Hope?
So it was just called Star Wars. I don't know if it was called Star Wars: A New
Star
Hope.
Wars.
Okay, yeah, it was probably just
I
called
think
Star Wars.
eventually they might have put a title.
Well,
to
no,
it.
so that was the thing.
Yeah.
Later on, I think after because then the second one of release is The Empire Strikes Back. So I don't think it was until that one, and it was maybe on re-releases or something. All these anyone who's a major Star Wars nerd is gonna rip me to shreds. But that's when they put on like episode 5, but it was kind of like after The Empire Strikes Back had been released for a little bit, so it was not intended to be this. I'm gonna start in the middle and then like come back around. It was literally Star Wars, and then here's the sequel I'm writing, and then that's when Lucas was like, "Well, I want to do a bunch more movies, and this would be a cool starting place." So yeah, it was definitely an afterthought. It was not It was not planned like that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay,
And so that's when
I
you
didn't know
want
that it originally was not called 4.
Also, they wrote novels that at the time were coming out while the movie was getting big publicity in the 70s into the 80s. And they wrote like canon, the complete canon novels talking about stuff. So like if you like even the Quinlan Library, like when I was in school had them and I found them randomly, and I was like the middle school library. I mean, I was like, are these okay? And I looked it up on like I was like, this looks
the forbidden texts.
the hidden scrolls. But like I looked it up and it's completely canon and everything, and it's more details than you really like. If you really want to dive deep into the lore, you can. But watch the movies, it'll explain whatever you want to know, the important things.
We'll not read the books.
Again, back to that. Yeah.
Well, there's so many things that
Star Wars is
Star Wars is there's so much lore to every little fucking thing. Just watch the damn movies. Don't dive into any of that shit. Just
the wormhole of Star Wars theories on YouTube.
oh
will
my
get
god,
you just into the ground.
too much.
Hit the magma rock of rabbit holes.
Oh Christ.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, but I
God.
don't think anyone. No.
Anywho.
You know what I just watched recently? We watched it on Halloween. I watched The Thing, the
Remake?
the 1982.
So good. One of my favorite
Dude.
ones.
Have you seen The Thing?
No.
Oh well,
Dude.
we were talking about it on the
That's
last
the
one.
one with like the posters, like the guy with like the beam of light
Yes.
coming out.
Yeah.
Dude, it's by John Carpenter too.
Really?
Great.
Yeah.
So it came out. The original one came out in like the 50s in black and white. It's like a typical like alien like old school movie.
yeah.
But the remake by John Carpenter is insanely good. Best creature sci-fi movie next to Aliens. The Alien
Oh,
franchise.
it was. Some of the special / practical effects, are a little dated, but the overall plot and just that suspense you feel from it holds up today.
It's not even
for
that
sure.
dated though. Like it's really good. Like
Yeah,
with
no,
what they made, it's incredible.
And it was like really low budget too at the time. And
Yeah.
it's fantastic. Not just in the fact that it's like horror. I would say if anything, it's more like a fucking suspense thriller movie than it is like true
suspense
horror.
sci-fi for sure.
Yeah. Oh, but it's good. It's
How
a good
many,
fucking movie.
How many of the Halloweens did John Carpenter direct?
3 technically.
Which ones?
So 1, 2.
He did The Witch? Or no?
No,
The
not
Witch is
Season of
3.
the Witch. Not Season of the Witch.
That's 3.
No. So 1, 2, and then the third one is the newer
Season of the
one
Witch.
that came out.
He didn't direct that one. He scored it.
Sorry, scored it. He
Wait,
kind of
hold on. So Halloween
after
1,
after from 3 and on, he didn't direct any of those.
I know. I thought 3. So I thought it went 1, 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then 3 was Season of the Witch, and then that's why 4 was like the Return of Michael Myers or whatever.
No, he didn't. He only directed 2 technically because so what happened? So Mustafa, I think is his name. He owned technically he owned Halloween as like what he could do whatever he want with it. John Carpenter owned it too, but he made 2 and didn't like it very much. He said it felt
Which
forced.
one is Season of the Witch?
Season of Witch
3.
is where all the kids wear the masks.
I know. I know.
3.
It's 3.
It's 3. Yeah.
Okay. So he did 1 and 2, and then obviously didn't do 3 because 3 was fucking.
I thought 3 was great.
He was
but-
like a producer on 3, but he didn't write it.
Sorry if I'm not quoting right, but I could have sworn he didn't direct 3.
No, he didn't,
Okay.
but he had like a part of it. Hang on, let me so I can see. What we're doing here.
But yeah, see, and the weird thing about 3 is that like it's a good movie, and it probably would make sense to call it Halloween because it's all about Halloween masks. But making 2 Halloween movies that were a big hit and then making a third one and just being like,
Well, no, was it?
it's not.
I don't know if it was you that told me, but supposedly the whole purpose of the Halloween thing was that they were going to. Maybe it was you, Trevor. Was it that whenever they made Halloween, they were going to do? It was going to be like similar to a mini series type thing. Like they were going to make a movie, and then the next Halloween was going to be a whole nother storyline.
It was going to be an anthology series of movies, so
Yeah.
it was going to be like each Halloween is going to be a different Halloween or scary story. But where they fucked up is they made a sequel for the second one. So now, obviously, you're going to naturally put a face of Halloween to Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So then when they released the third one, which was going to be the second installment of their anthology series, everyone was fucking pissed. They're like, where the fuck is Michael Myers? Because you made the first 2 movies about Michael Myers.
Right.
Obviously, that was a dumb choice. But no, actually, he did not direct number 2. He only he helped write number 2.
Oh.
And I think he helped write number 3, but after that, you're right. He's he's completely out.
Well, see, and you can find a trajectory of did John Carpenter direct it? Yes, and then he did not direct anymore, and then right down the fucking sugar.
Well,
like,
here's
the rest of the Halloweens compared to the first are not even remotely close.
Well, here's the
I
issue.
agree with
I have an issue with John Carpenter though, and so whenever the new Halloween movie was coming out, huge anticipation. I was like, well, not for me at first because I was like, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if Danny McBride, who I think is hilarious, is directing it. I don't think he might. I don't.
Are you talking about the new one?
No. Yeah,
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
See, well, here's the thing. When he said he was scoring it, I'm like, this is gonna be great. Guess what? His score was ass.
Oh.
It did not hold up, and the movie itself did not hold up. And
Well,
then,
no, okay, that should have been obvious.
but here
You can't remake a movie four.
it's not a
fucking
remake.
times.
It's not a remake.
Well, it's
It's the sequel to the first movie.
They're basically saying fuck Halloween 2. This is after the first movie because John Carpenter got to say this is the way he wanted it apparently. But okay,
again, you can't
sorry.
fucking do that. However many, what is that? That's 40 years later. Fuck that.
Well,
It's stupid.
I'm not. Yeah, you're right. Sure, but like I'm just saying, like it had potential because John Carpenter has made good movies, since after Halloween. But like the problem is that he definitely milked it. Like he definitely was just out for a check. Like 100%. Like.
Well, I mean, I'm sure. I don't even. I don't know.
It's just upsetting.
People
to see
liked
that.
the Rob Zombie ones, and
I like the Rob Zombie.
I think it's a good fun take.
I didn't like I didn't like the second one of Rob Zombie's one, but even Rob Zombie didn't want to make the second one.
I think the second one's crazy, and I think it's kind of good.
It's nuts. I mean, I wouldn't go so. I like the first one. I like people shit on it because I mean I get it. You don't want to give like this weird, almost supernatural figure a backstory because it kind of takes the mystery out. But
Right.
I thought he did it in like a cool way.
It's a fun take.
I liked it, but it's still not. I mean, I wouldn't call it like great by any means.
Right.
But
I think the whole reason, and another reason why I don't think that you can do it 40 years later, is that you're taking a movie that I think like 90% of why it's scary and why it is such like a cult classic, like the first one, is because of just like the simplicity of it, like the lo-fi shots, like not lo-fi, like for the time I think were pretty revolutionary. Like
the hidden shots.
The first scene, like one continuous take was like the longest I think at that time they'd ever done. Like, but just like the keyboards, the doom, like just ominous. It's like the whole, like you don't even like, he doesn't even kill anybody like the whole movie basically. You don't really see barely anything. There's like no gore. Really?
Suspense.
Yeah.
That's
it's just
what
suspense the whole time, just crippling suspense.
I'm gonna go off on a tangent for a second. I think that's what's missing in slasher movies, because I think slasher movies as a genre is really good. Is it good now? Absolutely not. It's just horrible.
How many stab them up? Fucking just.
And that's what they were promising with this. They were saying they were bringing the suspense back. I'm like, I'll give in. I'll see what it's like. Came out, didn't deliver. Now. Again, maybe it's just past its time and they should just leave it alone. I think they should, maybe.
I think they definitely should.
I think, Halloween, leave Halloween alone for sure.
Yes.
But,
yeah,
it's just slasher films don't work like they used to.
Well, I watched, the other day I was bored. It was like around Halloween and I hadn't watched like any horror movies or anything. Like I just was kind of wanting to watch one. And it was like one of the earlier Friday the 13th, I think like 2 or 3 or something.
Those are good.
Fucking terrible.
Oh.
Like I could not believe how horrible it was. And I mean, it's probably just because time has changed, but it didn't have that same Halloween thing to it. It was like, oh, hey, I'm going outside. And then it was like, thwap, and then next scene. And then it's like, okay, this other thing's happening. And then it's like, you just see like the bed and you just see like a knife go through it. And it's like next scene. And it's like, oh my God, it was like the worst effects I've ever seen.
I'll give you, yeah. I mean, I'll agree with 3. 3 is obviously just for shits and giggles, I think. But part 2 is actually kind of a decent movie. Now,
I can't remember which one it was. So
part 2 is where he has a sack over his head.
Did he have a hockey mask on?
I think it was a sack. I think if I remember
if
right.
there's shots where it's meant to be like really shitty 3D, like there's a harpoon shot where he shoots it.
It was made in 3D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Was that the one that you saw?
I don't think
because
that's
that's
part. The worst one is like notoriously known for. I'm sorry. Let me say that. The like notoriously known Friday the 13th movie that's just hated is Part 5. Part 5 is like the worst one. Like just because Jason's not even in it. It's like Season of the Witch, where it's like it leads up to just.
Okay, well, to be fair, you don't know that until
true.
the end.
That's true.
Well, Jason's not in the first one either.
Well, right, but it's what do you want me to spoil it for you?
The first?
No, Part 5.
Oh, I don't care.
So Part 5 essentially. So Part 4, Tommy Jarvis kills Jason, and it starts a story of him getting older and being sent to a camp for like disturbed children or young adults. And so what happens is, while he's there, some shit happens, and they think Jason's like back terrorizing him, and they're like, "No, you're just crazy. You're seeing shit." But then he actually comes back, and like they're fighting off Jason, and they eventually end up killing Jason. But then his mask comes off, but it's not Jason. It's a guy wearing a Jason mask, imitating Jason.
Oh.
And you end up seeing the guy who actually they give no foreshadowing that it's him. It's one of the paramedics that's like cleaning up a murder that happened.
Yeah,
it's so fucking weird.
It sounds like a Scooby-Doo episode or something.
Bad. It's super.
That's the first Friday the 13th I ever saw. Like I was
surprised
like
you went further.
I was like 6 or 7.
That movie's
and that was the first one I ever saw. Yeah,
it's so fucking bad.
Yeah. Well, okay, I never thought the Friday the 13th movies were. I liked them. I liked them a lot, but I never thought they were good.
They're not that good.
No, they're not. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, like I like them because I like horror and I like the
if you're
things
just
that
like
happen
It's
in
just
it.
a recognizable figure.
Right.
It's like this is Jason. But like if you were to put that up and if you didn't
It's fun
associate Jason with Halloween and all that stuff, and you just were watching this movie, it would be like some movie that you found off Netflix because they didn't have any other horror movies.
It's a fun movie to have, like on a Halloween party. Just
Yes.
playing
I
when
completely.
you're
Well, you're never gonna
around.
watch. That's the thing. Like, I never watched Friday the 13th, and I was like, man, I'm fucking terrified of like what's happening. Like, no, it's for me. It was just like a fun movie to watch, and some of the deaths you even fucking straight up laugh at.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like
And I think that's what happened towards the end to the Halloween movies too, and that's what's stupid is because it didn't start that way. Like the first Friday the 13th either, like that was good. Like that was the same way as Halloween. It was suspense. And I don't know, it's like all of the directors of horror movies in Hollywood came together, and it's like they made this pact that we're no longer going to take this like serious, suspenseful, fucking like creepy, awesome thing they did, and then we're just gonna make ridiculous shit now.
Well, it's funny you said that because the same thing with Halloween happened with Friday the 13th. There's been like 6 different directors each
Right.
Friday the 13th.
It's horrible. Yeah. And then you have a movie like in Halloween where it ends in Jason or in Michael Myers literally getting shot like 400 times and then like careening off a fucking cliff and like a car explodes, and then like the next movie is just him like floating down the river
Killed
and
the
then
wrong
just
guy?
like
Yeah.
But no, he like had been shot, but he's just invincible now, and it's like okay.
Well, what's that movie with Paul Rudd where he plays?
that's Resurrection.
No, that's not Resurrection.
That's not
Paul Rudd's in this one where
Okay, here,
Paul
I'll
Rudd plays the little kid that grew up in the first movie. That was like who's the boogeyman? He plays that guy grown up, and so it tells this backstory of not Jason, Michael Myers being like born into a cult, and he's like, it's so bad. It's
Well, what was that
wild.
thing? It was like the symbol or whatever.
on his wrist.
Yeah,
that's the
like
movie
a-
I'm talking about.
What is it?
It's like a thorn.
P
It's a
or something?
thorn.
Oh.
I don't remember that much else because I zoned the whole movie out after that. But it was on AMC having that Fear Fest thing. They have all the Halloween movies, and you're just like, I'll watch it. And you're like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah.
Like the only poking fun at movie, like horror movie in those like Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers movies
Oh,
are
it was The Curse of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That's the one it was.
Freddy versus Jason and Jason X. Those movies are so ridiculous. It's just fun to watch. Jason X is hilarious to
Isn't
watch.
he like
Uber Jason.
futuristic or something like that?
Yeah,
Like
he's
super-
accidentally like fused with nanobots or some fucking
That's
dumb
not a
shit.
joke.
Yeah, no.
Jason gets cryo freezed at this like marine base in Crystal Lake, and so they find him like
They have a
thousands of
marine
years
base in
later.
Crystal Lake.
No, they find him thousands of years later, and they take him up on a ship to like inspect on him.
Do,
And,
do,
like,
do you know the dumbest thing about this though? Do you know why they took him on the ship? Because what the where they got him from was Earth 1. There is Earth 2. They have there's 2 fucking planets in this movie.
God creates
so
Earth
bad.
too.
Yeah, no, it was basically I think it was like a critique on like global warming or something. It was like
Something like
It was
that.
like we fucked up our planet, so we had to move on to another
And then
one. It's
they-
Earth 2.
They actually kill Jason. You're like, oh, and then you see these like T-800 looking nanobot things come up on him, and his mask is even metal. He's walking around swole as shit, and his machete's like, dude, you gotta pull up a picture of Uber Jason.
I
That shit
am.
is honestly, it's the most ham Jason ever.
It's the fucking
It's so sick.
ridiculous.
It's
See,
so
look
sick.
At this dumb shit.
Look at the. It's so good, dude.
Dude, oh my god.
Honestly, though, that's the scariest fucking Jason they've had, though. Think about it. Like, it's the fucking scariest Jason. Like, Matt, that's something to be fucking terrified of. That dude walked into your fucking house.
Dude,
he don't even walk in your house. He breaks through your fucking house.
This bitch was a robot in the movie that some guy was fucking
Yeah,
too.
dude.
Like, this movie went nuts.
He walks up and the house just crumbles to the ground.
He steps on the fucking, like, door, like, the walkway.
Dude, okay, wait, hang on. This is my favorite scene. There is a scene in this movie where, like, they put him in a simulation of, like, Camp Crystal Lake, and there are these chicks in, like, a fucking sleeping bag, and he just picks up the sleeping bag and fucking,
Zach, you were going to cry laugh at this. It's so good.
So I was gonna ask.
good.
So I didn't know you were able to play videos on this for the copyright shit. So if you can,
I don't care.
Okay, well then I want you. We should watch that
More.
trailer for Uncut Gems.
Okay.
Yes, we should.
Let's do
Yeah,
that.
we'll bring that up
But
next.
let me bring this up. I don't know how loud this is going to be, so if it blows your ears off, I'm fucking sorry. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, I can't turn this down. Goddamn, hang on. Fuck me. Fuck my dick. God damn it.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, it's too loud.
It's a porno.
It's going to sound like it.
Jason Diggs. Friday the Girth Team.
Here we go.
Hey, you want a beer?
Or do you want to smoke some pot?
Or we can have premarital sex.
This is not from the real movie.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Just beating a motherfucker with another motherfucker. Like, oh my god. Now remember, that was they put him through a simulation
So-
to distract him. So that wasn't like a real life scenario. It's kind of satirical. Like it's playing. The whole movie is kind of that way.
You should pull up
Oh my
like
God.
10 funniest like horror movie deaths or something like that.
Oh,
like
the,
top
oh,
10.
the best death in the Friday the 13th franchise happens in Jason X 2. He dumps this bitch's head in,
Oh
in
my
the
God,
ice.
yes.
And like it freezes. He goes,
Hang on.
boom. Oh,
Dude,
my God,
Jason
pull that shit
X,
up.
Wait,
It's so good.
okay, but have you seen? Oh my God, Jason Takes Manhattan or
That's a
whatever?
great movie.
where they're on the rooftop and this fucking dude is like he's just working Jason, just beating his ass like, and Jason's just standing there and the dude is just like tired,
He's
like,
give me your best shot.
his fucking
They
head.
had a
flies
shot
off.
on the camera of it just flailing. Oh, dude.
Let me
Eventually
see.
they get so bad they're good, and that's what I love about them. Like,
Oh my God, here it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is a brutal fucking scene.
What a start.
I thought, what happened to his metal mask?
And it's before the nanobots got him.
This is like a sci-fi movie, like that would be on at like 3 p.m. Like,
Yeah.
it really is.
You wake up and like in the middle of a dream.
Like, they have sound effects.
Yeah. Is that Kevin Hart?
No.
No.
It should have been, though, honestly. The quality of this movie.
Oh, tit shot.
There's just a cryogenic freezing
Yeah.
vat. God damn.
Like, well worth watching the movie for.
There's some good scenes in this movie. Like, death scenes, but nothing else.
Do not watch this movie thinking it's serious, because it's so good if you don't watch
Yeah.
it that way. Look at the fucking, like, that's a
Surgical tool.
yeah, like the fuck. Here we
Like,
have
take a machete and turn it into a fucking pottery
Doctor.
knife.
We need to cut off his toenails. Like,
This one is my favorite death in any horror movie ever.
oh, this podcast took a good turn. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
This is my
oh,
absolute
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
favorite death.
Oh, yeah.
I love this one.
the one-liners of Freddy Krueger are so
Oh my
good.
God.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Was that Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah, it was.
What the fuck?
It didn't show the part where she's literally just hanging from the fucking TV.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Boys in the Hood. Dude,
Oh,
that was
man.
actually kind of cool up until the fucking one-liner.
Dude,
Like,
Freddy Krueger's one-liners are what make them
Oh,
the
so
animation
good.
of him going through the TV actually didn't look that unrealistic.
yeah, no, I liked the the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I mean, one of my favorite horror movies of all time is the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
It's one of her favorite movies.
I
too.
fucking love. I mean, you can't watch the acting without cringing a little bit, but it's good. The premise is really good.
How'd you feel about the remake of?
I
Nightmare on
think
Elm
we've
Street.
talked about this a little bit, but I actually liked it.
Oh yeah, we did talk about.
Yeah,
that,
I actually liked it. Surprisingly, though, I didn't think I would,
Right.
but I went in. I'm like, you know what? That wasn't. It's a different spin on it. It makes him more sinister than. So he's not as funny.
It was definitely more creepy.
Yeah.
I
So
will
it kind of
100%
takes
say
away that comedy bit that he has, but I thought it was like creepy as fuck. So I liked it.
I agree.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should do like top 10.
Oh,
horror
goriest,
deaths.
goriest movie kills.
Oh,
Hatchet
Jesus.
has a really good one. Oh my god.
Or just I mean like
Oh,
do
man.
top 10 like funniest horror deaths because those are gonna be hilarious. Like all kinds of fucking dumb shit's gonna happen.
I hope Hatchet's on there, man. There's a. Oh man, that's so good.
Let's see. Oh my god! Well, I'm not watching a Watch Mojo. Amusing horror movie. Oh yeah,
Jason's got his own.
this one is fucking nuts. I've seen part of this one.
Is that Freddy versus Jason?
Yeah, which that movie itself is fucking ridiculous.
Oh my god, this looks like it was like all these were like B-rated Japanese films. They
That
got
was Final
converted.
Destination. at the
Dude,
end.
literally, like over half of that was fucking just Friday the
Oh, yeah.
13th deaths.
They're all ridiculous.
Yeah, that shit pissed me off, dude. I used to think that it was better for some reason.
I mean, we were
No,
all
you were
kids
never
when we
wrong.
were watching these.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember watching the very first Friday the 13th with him. It was I think, besides Halloween, it was my very first horror movie, like just finding and renting.
Well, the fucking first one
Yeah.
is worth watching.
yeah, it scared
It's
the
cool.
shit out of me when I was a kid.
Because the suspense is like the fucking noise
Yeah.
and the like whatever that noise is, whatever, and like, and then I don't know why it just completely went away from that. Like,
Horror movies without
suspense.
music.
Oh yeah, the good music.
Yeah, score. It's
Yeah.
like Halloween. Like there's a little documentary called, I don't remember what it's called, but it came with like the very first Halloween movie on Blu-ray, and I was watching it, and they watched the Halloween movie without the score when they first filmed it, and they almost cut funding to it because they were like, "This is horrible." And then John Carpenter added the score to it, and they were like, "This is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen." Like
Oh, yeah,
the score
it's
matters
everything.
so much, and it does.
everything.
That's any horror movie. I really think the score matters.
I agree.
Yeah.
The Shining.
Any
Just
Kubrick
the
movie.
fucking
Yeah.
when they just have a scene or they just have a shot of the elevators and then the fucking blood starts to come through and there's no sound
Oh, yeah.
and then it's like
Yeah.
all of the fucking bass, all of the violin, everything all at once,
Yeah.
and then it just cuts to them like that shit is. I mean,
I plug this movie a lot, but Hereditary is another good one because there's like, if you listen to the soundtrack, there's a song that plays for the very first like 10 minutes, and it's just a low subtle bass, like just like it's not like a hum, but it's like it fits so perfectly. You think it's part of the movie, like it's so creepy.
Oh, no, yeah,
like
well-
if you listen to it in your car on the way home, you will fucking scare yourself. It's
I think that's
fucking-
like a new way that I don't know how you describe it, but it's like a similar style. Like in Sinister was the
Oh
first
my
thing.
Oh
I noticed.
god, yeah.
That
That's
the
a great
music for
movie.
that
I
one
forgot.
is like fucking.
we watch
scary,
that
dude.
in the lawnmower scene each fucking time.
Yeah.
Scares
Or
the
like the-
shit out of me.
And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like and like all the fucking shit happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the film, like rotating. It's
yeah, dude.
terrifying.
It almost
gives me chills right
yeah.
now. Yeah, it's fucking.
I
it's
fucking
so
love
scary.
that movie so much.
That's such.
Yeah,
The
it's
second one was
super
so
good.
bad, but the first one, dude,
Well,
it's such
well,
a.
okay, so you see, this is a prime example. This is another thing that horror movies run into, and we talked a little bit about it, like in the movie industry in general, but like the first Sinister and the second Sinister were written and directed by completely different people. So it's like, you know, you have your brilliant idea and it's a great movie, and then somebody else comes along from the same movie company and fucks it
Leave
up.
it alone.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with like, okay, I'm sure like you were agitated with the Friday the 13th. Well, I guarantee, I know for a fact they're all directed by different people. Almost every single one is directed by a whole other person.
Yeah, it's just
So-
greed.
Yeah.
It's just it's taking an actual work of art
Yeah.
and basically just shitting on it. Like
Yeah. Even Scream that plays off that joke ruined itself. That's hilarious.
Well, that's
to me.
because I guarantee you none of the others were directed by Wes Craven.
They are actually.
Wait, they are?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Wait,
I need
the
to look
first
at that.
Scream was directed by Wes Craven?
Because it was a critique on horror movies. Because
Maybe
Well, the first Scream I thought was really good.
I love
well,
it
yeah,
too.
a lot of people love
but
Scream.
The point is, like, once you watch, in fact, after I saw the first Scream, I was like, you know what's funny about this? It's funnier. The movie's more of a fun nod the more movies you make about Scream. And once they made Scream 4, I was like, you're ruining it. Like, it's weird how you know the joke and you still ruin the movie's franchise. Like,
Yeah, you just did the same thing.
but like
The
it's
whole
it's,
point
it's
of the movie is to
unironic.
make fun of.
It's supposed to be ironic, but it's unironic, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why you have the evidence in front of you and you still fucked it up? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, the second one was directed by Wes Craven. The third, oh my God, these were
I
directed by
know,
Wes Craven.
I
What
was
the
telling
fuck?
you. I was trying to tell you.
Wow, why would he do that?
That's why.
He wants that fucking money, dude.
Oh
Hey.
yeah, that new Terminator looks like ass too.
Scream 4.
I would.
6.1.
I haven't seen any of the
shame.
Terminators.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
T1 and 2 are great. Don't watch the rest.
Yeah, it just seems kind of like a goofy ass fucking movie. Especially like if I watched it now, I can only imagine that the animation and whatnot is probably very horrible. And
Terminator 1 is. Terminator 2, it's got some points. It's got some time where you're like, oh, this anime. Well, you know that. Well, if you get the remaster, like if you watched like the original take, like when it came out, like you'd probably be like, it's outdated. But like the like actual, not CGI. What's the word for that? The
Special effects?
special effects. I'm sorry. The special effects that aren't CGI are actually pretty decent for Terminator 2. Terminator 1's very bad. but
I hear on a consistent basis that Judgment Day, the second one, is a pretty good movie.
it's a
overall.
very good movie. Terminator 3, not good. And then obviously,
Yeah, I
the
heard
rest.
that.
But
I didn't know how many there were.
There's like
there's a little bit.
yeah, there was just 1, 2, and 3, but then here recently, like in the last 10 years, they've been making like a bunch of new ones. There's been like Terminator Genesis, which had Christian Bale. There was some other one that was released just a couple years ago.
I was worried about Alien for a while, that they were going to ruin that. And it got kind of bad at 4, but they made Prometheus and then Alien Covenant, and it is incredible. Like, if you aren't a fan, have you seen?
I've seen Prometheus, and I liked Prometheus.
Watch Alien Covenant.
But I've heard from nearly everyone that it's not near as good as Prometheus, and that it's kind of bad.
Alien Covenant?
Yeah, I've
It's
heard.
the prequel to Alien.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, so is Prometheus.
Yeah.
But I've heard from a lot that it doesn't
have
hold
you,
up to Prometheus.
Have you watched any of those?
No.
Let me see
very
what are the ratings on
If you
Prometheus.
like sci-fi horror, definitely watch. And the suspense is ridiculous in Alien.
ratings. So it's got a 7,
so
and then let's
good.
see Alien Covenant. Oh, it's 2017. 6.4. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of what I heard, is that it doesn't quite hold up to Prometheus. I like, a lot of people kind of didn't really like Prometheus, but I thought it was kind of a neat like setting up of
yeah.
an origin story. I thought it was
think
pretty
it's
cool.
Yeah. I like both movies. I like Alien Covenant more for reasons I don't want to spoil.
Okay, yeah,
But,
I still want to watch it.
very
I just
good.
haven't seen it yet.
Like I said, if you're a fan of Alien, please watch it.
Yeah.
So good.
I don't think I've seen Alien either.
Very
It's
good.
been so long. I guarantee I've forgotten half of it because it's been so long since I've seen the original Alien. But I bet I'd still love it if I watched it again.
The Predator movies, in my opinion, are.
They're
But-
just like cheesy action movies. They're
But
not really-
Alien is very good. It's like, I think it set the tone for like sci-fi horror.
Yeah, no, the original Alien
Yeah.
is a great movie.
It's
That's
actually
the-
older than The Thing. I think 1979.
Yeah,
That
Oh,
movie
shit.
when it
it holds
dropped
up really well.
really well. That
Yeah.
when that movie dropped, no one was ready for that. Like that was, it's all dark, atmospheric suspense. You don't know what the alien looks like. Like you don't even know
Well,
what
that
it
sounds
is.
good.
It's really good.
Well,
You
well,
should-
That's the shit I like.
you're a good candidate for this to go
Yeah.
in with completely brand new like eyes to it.
Yeah.
Please watch it. It's-
Well, that's the thing. This movie, kind of like what we were talking about earlier with suspense, that's what this movie is based on, because like you only see the creature for like a couple scenes. So, and you don't really realize it when you're watching it, but when you look back later, you're like, yeah, that whole movie, when I watched it, it didn't really pop up that much. And so basically the whole thing is just built on that fucking suspense of...
less is definitely more
There
in
you
that
go.
movie.
Less is more.
For sure. It's so good. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, no. It's
I
a
didn't
good
know it
movie.
was that old for some reason.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
You wouldn't think so, because like I said, if you watched it now, you would. I mean, it still holds up, like even by today's standards. So I mean, I bet if you watched like a remastered version of it or something, it would be pretty good.
Don't watch AVP.
This is crazy. Like I've talked to you guys about this before, but I feel like I've never or here recently. I'm not someone that just like wants to sit down and watch like a full movie. Like,
Oh yeah,
like, it takes a lot out of me to get me to sit down and watch a movie. Like I have to be like really fucking committed to watch a movie.
I can watch.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know people that are like, hey, you want to watch this movie that we've
2
already
a.m.
seen 20
Like, yeah, dude,
times? So
let's
you want
do
to
it.
sit and watch it? I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. I'm the same way though. I used to be able to do like in college and shit, and I think it just has to deal with like the amount of time you have to blow. Because like when I was in college in my dorm, like I would just go down my movie list that I had of like movies to watch, like bucket list movies, and I would just watch them in my dorm.
That's
But-
probably what it is.
But now that I work and I have I've got like this shit to do and all that, like I value each hour as like kind of precious.
Yeah.
So it's like for me to just literally sit and do nothing for multiple hours, I like can't do it. Like I'm the same way with video games now too. I just
Yeah.
can't like sit and game anymore.
Red
'cause-
Dead Redemption was like that for me, where like I was like, this is a great game. I will never be able to finish this, and I just
yeah.
tossed it aside. I
I'm
was
coming
like,
around though. What I was gonna say is that I think now it's getting like not like that. Like, cause in college I was so fucking busy. Like watching a movie is a huge time commitment, and so like now, if I come home from work, even after I work out and shit, like if I just like could start a movie at 8 and finish at like 10 or something, or start a movie at 10 and finish at midnight and then go to sleep or something, like that's perfect for me right now, because like I don't have to worry about anything until the next day. But before, it's like there's always like something going on.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I maybe flipped a little bit on that because when I was in college, I basically just had an abundance of time to just fuck around.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my major wasn't particularly hard. It wasn't fucking engineering like you. So like now I'm busy all the fucking time. So now I feel like I don't want to just sit and like just.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
But
feel like
every time we talk about this shit, like right now, all I want to do is just like stock up with like a fucking pizza and like completely
yeah.
dark room and just fucking power through.
it would be sick to do a
Oh,
podcast
badass
where we
movies.
watch a movie and commentate on it.
I feel like it would have to be a movie.
It has to be a movie we obviously already have watched.
Yeah, because we'd have to be able, because we're just sitting there in
Yeah.
complete silence the whole time.
Right.
I don't know.
Thinking about
I've
processing
considered.
the movie.
I've considered like maybe doing like I mean I know we do the segments on like movie reviews and whatnot, but maybe I don't know because I feel like every time we end up talking about movies, we go in like super in depth. We always have a lot to say,
That's
and then
true, that's
a lot of us are kind of like cinephile. Like me and Chandler, we're fucking cinephiles, and then Sawyer is really good on critiquing movies too, especially from like camera angles and points of view like that. So I mean, I feel like it'd be really cool to do like extended segments on literally just certain movies or whatnot. Like I want to do a full on like Joker review, or like anytime a good movie comes out, we just sit and like completely
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that'd be a tough thing if Mark was doing it. I think it would just be like.
The movie would be paused for like a good hour, probably. Going
Oh,
off
you're
on
talking
tangents.
about like doing a live one?
Oh well, I mean
Or you're talking about just?
I was
doing
talking about just in
reviews?
general, like reviews. Like
Yeah.
every now and then we review a movie. I mean, we can make it a bit more, like on those episodes, a bit more like here are the things we're gonna talk about. But
It's so weird. 'Cause, I mean, like some movies, there's a consensus. Like the Joker, everyone says Joker's a good movie. It just depends on what degree that like how high you're gonna put it. Like
Right.
I've and but sometimes now there are movies that
You hear that,
some
yeah, what's that?
this
Are you tapping your foot?
oh it's this thing.
Oh,
Oh
I guess stop messing with that.
Okay.
Wait, hang on. I guess it's gone. All right, we're
Yeah,
good.
no, that was it. I'm pretty sure. But there are some movies that some people like. What's up?
Keep talking.
Talk again.
That some people like that I don't know, I think is different than I don't know, there's not consensus basically. Like there are some movies that people are like, "Oh, I love this movie. It's so good." And I'm like, "How did you like that?" Like the new It. Like everyone loved the new It.
I love the new It.
I hate it.
Part 2 or 1?
No, one. I
Okay,
haven't seen part two.
well, hang on. Well, you and I we kind of talked about that a little bit though, because you really liked the original miniseries.
Well, I did. I'm hearing voices.
I'm hearing weird stuff too. I don't know. Oh, okay. It's them in the other room. Yeah, we were hearing like tapping or like some weird
Yeah.
shit.
It
So
sounded like a
yeah.
minute ago.
Their game's really
Oh,
okay.
okay. I was like super confused.
Sexist.
No, like my heart is beating out of my chest because I forgot you were here, and I heard like a girl's voice, and I'm like, did you not fucking hear that? Because I can't see you.
We're just looking back talking to somebody who's not there.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm not kidding. That scared the fucking shit out of me. I was like sitting here like, hold on, like waiting for you guys to react, and I'm like, did you not just hear that? No, but yeah. Anyway, the new It, I don't know. I didn't like it at all.
Well, yeah, but didn't you?
I liked the kid actors in the movie, like the new one. I thought they were all really good, and I think that like the whole friendship thing of theirs was cool and stuff. I just think that like the actual It monster was not scary, and I thought it was like cringe. Like the kill scenes were fucking ridiculously bad for a 2017 or 2018 movie? 2017 movie. And the opening scene is like the kid's like playing in the street, and he just like rips it fucking into the thing, and it looks like animation from the 80s. Like can you play that first fucking the first scene? Of
you mean when?
It?
Yeah,
Georgie's death scene.
Yeah, Georgie's death.
We had a long debate about this in Snapchat. I remember.
and I feel like
me and you were at each other's necks about it.
yeah.
Actually.
Well, no. Because
okay. Well,
we have
before
to watch it here.
Okay, but before we jump into it, I mean, I feel like one of the reasons that you didn't necessarily like this one because I mean, I remember you. I mean, you said you always really liked the original miniseries, like the one.
Did.
So I mean, I feel like that's probably a big part of it because, I mean, I didn't really watch it like in too much depth. So, since you love that one so much, God damn it,
it's right there.
Okay.
There you
Since you love the original so much, watching this one, I could see how you probably wouldn't like it. Especially because, I mean, there's a lot of things that are different.
Well, okay, look at that face on the original It, dude. That to me is fucking creepy. Like that creeps me the fuck out.
I think
Really?
Like the stencil, like it looks like a real guy, like a real fucking weirdo.
Okay, so
like stencil drawn fucking eyes.
we
all
should
this stuff.
compare the two.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
going to do.
literally they're right there.
Here,
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm going to fucking just fast forward because oh, wait, hang on. It's
That's
only a
the
minute.
original.
Yeah, I know. God damn it.
Are you gonna do both of them?
Fucking asshole.
Damn, that's
Fuck
loud.
you, Wick.
Dicks.com.
Okay, I'm just going to speed up to the death scene. Oh, wow, they forgot about that in the new It.
What?
The mom playing the piano.
I don't remember that either.
You
to be honest
barely
with you.
see the mom. Weirdly enough, I don't even think she's in anything.
I don't think-
actually.
no.
That's weird.
There's a lot of characters
Want
they've
it,
left out.
don't you, Georgie? Oh, of course you do. And there's cotton candy and rides and all sorts of surprises down here. And balloons, too. All colors.
Do they float?
Oh, yes. They float, Georgie.
That's fucking creepy, dude.
They float. And when you're down here with me, you float too!
Like that's corny 80s or early 90s thing. But like his character and acting, that shit is creepy to me. Like way creepier than the new one that's just like a
I won't.
computer generated fucking thing. Like, okay, yeah, go to that one real quick.
That's what I'm
Holy
doing.
fuck.
I should get going now.
Without your boat? You don't want to lose it, Georgie. Bill's gonna kill you. Here. Take it.
Oh, shit, I gotta go pee real quick.
Take it, Georgie.
All right.
It's a 2017 movie, dude.
All right.
Where he bit his arm and it's like it looks like one of those things from the fucking early 2000s Jason movies. Like that's how it looked. Like,
What'd you think?
Here's what I'm gonna say. I don't think Tim Curry did a bad job by any means. Now, it's easy to rip on the miniseries because of what it is, but I think, and this is just, I mean, Zach's opinion on Tim Curry versus what's his name?
Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård.
They're just both like one's almost like a weird kind of creepy uncle kind of vibe, you know, and then the other one's just like more of a monster. I think. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this is way better. I think this scene was done a whole lot better. Holy shit, they showed kid gore. That's my first thought. I was like, I've never seen kid gore in a horror movie in public. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Not to say I watch fucked up gore on kids. Let me reiterate. But like, I was shocked. I was like, holy
Give
shit.
me kid gore.
I'm just saying. I feel like you always get that like, oh, he's not gonna hurt the kid. Like you know it, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like they showed what happened. Like he got his fucking arm chomped on, and they showed like his mouth come out. Like I'm just saying. I mean. I think Bill did a great job. I think Tim Curry's is good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's good. But Bill's, to me, is a lot creepier and a whole lot more just better, in my opinion. I think it's just better.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't see too much of the original miniseries, so I guess I can't really comment on like who's the better one. I mean, I just really like, from what I saw from the movie, I just really like the movie in general.
Yeah.
Was I scared of? I don't think Pennywise himself is like really all that creepy because I'm not really scared of clowns, so it doesn't weird me out. Now all the things he morphed into were fucking creepy as hell, like the, the Stanley, the Jewish kid.
Oh, the flute lady.
Yeah, like that was
fucking
creepy
scary.
as fuck.
Scary
like,
shit.
Yeah, so I thought everything he morphed into, and like when he was preying on their fears, I thought
great.
that was creepy as fuck. But Pennywise himself, no, I mean, in both. I'm not gonna think it's very creepy.
The leper,
because I'm not.
Take your pill.
Yeah,
had like the pill like out of his tongue. That was great. Like I thought it was done. That movie deserved a remake so bad, or that miniseries deserved a remake so bad. It was insane.
I think what they should have done, what would have been a lot better for, especially after seeing It Part 2, what would have been a lot better for it is for them to do like an actual. Almost like a Netflix series, like you have 5 episodes to explain everything.
I think so.
because there's so much. That book is 1,300 pages long.
I was gonna say you know more about the book than I do.
That book, yeah, it's 1,300 pages long. There's so much backstory, so many things that the movie just flat out had to leave out because you only have 2 and maybe 3 hours of runtime to
also
do it.
because of the kid sex.
Yeah, that too, and also I mean, and there's so many things they had to leave out, and then. The second half of the book goes fucking nuts because Stephen King's books are like interconnected, and so there's a lot of things that you just can't do it on the screen unless you have more time to expand upon it, or it's gonna look fucking crazy. Because like, have you seen It Chapter 2? Yeah. So like at the ending, if you don't really understand a lot of what happens in the book, then it kind of looks like it just goes fucking nuts, doesn't it? Like it's like what the fuck? Like he turned.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't ruin it though.
No. I mean, I still liked it, and like I liked it because like I know what the creature actually is. Yeah. So like it didn't bother me. But for someone who watched the first one like this, and then watched the second one, and has like this alien part to it, it's gonna alienate your audience a little bit.
Like that whole fight scene done in the miniseries is garbage. That is.
I never saw that, so I didn't.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
They literally fight like a crab tarantula looking thing.
Oh, nice.
And but I mean, they did it great. I mean, the casting was superb. Both movies. It was great humor thrown in. There was great.
Oh, there were legitimately funny.
Oh, hilarious!
Hilarious parts in both movies.
Like the casting could not have been better. Like who played the kid from Stranger Things? Bill Hader. Bill Hader. Oh my God. Great.
That was perfect. Great. He was one of the only people. Him and Jessica Chastain were the only people.
She was amazing when casted. Everyone was like begging that to happen, and I'm so glad it happened.
Those were the only two that the kids wanted them to play, and like they actually got them. And I remember Bill Hader had said that he felt like honored that the kid had requested him to play him, and so he wanted to do it.
Bill Hader's incredibly underrated.
Yeah, no, he's a great actor. People don't take him serious because he's in a lot of comedic. Once again, back to that whole typecasting thing. But he's a great actor. I've seen him in quite a few movies, and he's always good.
And then the guy that played the fat kid looks just like him. It's crazy. I was like, what? That dude played, because that's what he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be like, like he blossomed or glowed up.
Yeah,
it's kind of a funny word to use, but like. He glowed up, and I was like, "That dude literally looks like him." I don't know how they pulled that guy
like in the
out.
face.
Yeah, it's literally him. I'm like, "Great job, casting."
Casting was great. I think the one that translated the roles really well was Eddie. So the kid. He's like
germaphobe.
The germaphobe kid. I think that dude is the most like the kid version of himself.
Him getting stabbed was the funniest bit of that movie.
Yeah,
it's kind of, it wasn't supposed to be, but it was. He's like.
Do you recognize that was the guy from Sinister? He was Deputy
Yes,
so-and-so.
yes, I figured that out when I rewatched Sinister.
When I saw the casting and I saw that it was him, I was like, I was excited for it. I was like, dude, that's perfect. Like, I just know that he's gonna do great. Yeah, he fucking killed it.
What was he was like walking on the side? He's like, he's in there.
Yeah.
He's got a knife. I was like, what?
He had a knife.
He had a knife. Yeah, that was great. I thought it was great. It gives me hope to see these movies happen because it gives me faith about Dr. Sleep. Yeah. And
we see. Well, that's where, like, you know, a lot of people, they shit on remakes, and I think especially with something that has like source material, like a book or a novel. I think it's kind of good sometimes to get a fresh set of eyes on it, because someone could, you know, take it like, you know, they say the original it was just like horrible and like completely fuck it up, and then I mean no one comes along and corrects it. Like, this guy really tried his best to stay as true to the novel as he could and put it on screen, and I feel like we need more people like that,
right?
Because it's like, I mean, you have some legitimately good like source material to run off of, and you know, so many people when they get it, they want to just take it and fuck it up, and you know, oh, my version is going to be better. And
well, see, that's the thing is, like, I don't hate, like, with horror movies, obviously remakes can get too much, and it happens way too often in the horror community, but some deserve it. Like, I can't really. Oh, The Thing.
Yeah.
Like, if done right and executed right.
Well, that's the thing. You can make a million remakes, and as long as each one is either just as good or somehow better in its own way than the one before it, then I'm okay with it.
Right.
But don't just either, for the sake of cash grabbing mainly, just make a movie to make a movie. Like, to me, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna be bold enough to do that, and the story needs to be good enough.
There's one happening actually soon. So they're the very old black and white silent film Nosferatu. He's getting remade by the guy that made The Witch and The Lighthouse.
Oh, shit.
And he's been talking about it for a long time. He was like when he made The Witch, it's been a long gap since The Lighthouse. And he said, they were like asking him, you know, what's your plans? Whenever The Witch happened, there was like, he had a bunch of, like, everyone was like wanting to talk to him, Robert Eggers. And he was like, I really want to do Nosferatu. And I was like,
that would be dope.
I can fuck with it. And it's on IMDb and it's happening.
Shit.
And I'm like, that sounds awesome. Let's And then I was like, but I want to see how The Lighthouse comes out. I won't lie to you, it's weird. It's weirder than Midsommar. It's not for everyone, but I've come to appreciate his historically accurate movies.
Yeah,
like he pays so much. Even in The Witch, I think in The Witch, but definitely in The Lighthouse, it says the dialogue has been taken from journals from the time era and used into dialogue, not meaning it's like stories from then. It's just like he's gathered what he thinks they would say, how they would act, how people said
like the
things.
jargon of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so good. It's so good, dude. And if you can look past that, it's a good movie. Like The Lighthouse, the very ending parts of The Lighthouse are so good. It's so good, dude. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's all shot in black and white, and
I don't give a fuck.
Don't go like that, dude. First of all, if you think it's not going to be good and it's William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, you're crazy, dude. It's so good. Like, Robert Pattinson, it's one of my favorite movies with him.
So without spoiling anything, what is, like, just a very basic, what is the movie like about?
So, there's been movies made about this, and in fact, there's like folklore again about. So, I don't know if there's a specific year that this happens in. It's definitely in the 1800s, but it's about two lighthouse keepers. There's a word for it. I forget what they use it for. William Dafoe has done it for a long time, and Robert Pattinson is like brand new to it. And so they get put on this lighthouse, and they're just taking care of it, just running everything. Like, that's basically the boring plot of it. But it's like, you know, they're there for what's supposed to be a set time, ends up being longer, and it's just them slowly, you know, slipping, you know,
kind of going insane a little bit.
And that's pretty much all without spoiling. But I mean, it's a fucking roller coaster. Like, you'll sit there like, huh? And then by the end, it's, again, you need to see it twice. But from what I saw, and I walked out, I was like, I'm glad I saw it. And I definitely won't say it's my favorite next to The Witch, but it's this dude makes great movies. This dude, Robert Eggers, is so good. Yeah.
What is it? Lighthouse or The Lighthouse?
The Lighthouse.
Okay.
There's 2 movies. One I think was in 2005.
The Lighthouse.
Yeah, or 16 actually. Oh, that's relatively close.
What's the? Oh, it's sitting at an 8.3. That's really good.
Yeah, it's also shot in a specific. If you look at a trailer, you can tell it's shot. You and Sawyer know it better than I do.
It's shot in a different aspect ratio.
Yeah,
Is
it's like that the whole movie.
Oh,
what you're
so
looking
it's
at.
it's got the black bars on the sides. What you're saying?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like when we saw it, I thought it, like we were watching it like incorrectly. Never changed, but that does not affect the movie. Like it's impressive that he got everything in that small of a frame.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, there's not a lot of people that are willing to, kind of fuck with what we view as modern cinema.
Yeah.
To like fuck with that a little bit. Like a lot of people like that wouldn't want to go see a movie like that just because it's in black and white. So I
Right.
applaud him for trying something different.
Oh, yeah.
So
This-
I think that probably, at least from what I've seen I've seen like little clips of the trailer. That probably helps with the tone of the movie a lot, though, having it in black and white.
One more thing, it is fucking funny. The movie is hilarious at points. Like
Really?
in fact, the first 5 minutes of it is hilarious, even disgusting and funny.
Yeah.
Like there's like I think a 10 to 15 minute like dialogue between William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson where they're arguing drunk, and it's hilarious. He gets pissed because damn, I can't spoil it.
Okay, yeah.
Fuck, but it's funny. It's so funny. You get scared, you laugh, and it's a great storytelling the entire time.
You guys didn't watch that trailer yet, did you?
No.
The Lighthouse?
No.
Uncut Gems. I forget we need to do that. Yeah.
I
Okay.
just saw we were on like new shit now.
Well, we were just
Okay.
we spitballed from there. So,
Yeah.
what would you say? Uncut
Gems.
Gems trailer.
Looks like a roller coaster.
Dude, I am so goddamn ready.
All right, let's see. Let's look at this right here. Let's see.
Oh yeah, have y'all seen the trailer for this, The Lighthouse?
No.
I have.
Is there already like a rating for it and shit?
What?
Like-
Oh yeah.
8 out of 10. Is that
well,
good for
that's
this website?
well, it's It hasn't been released yet, right? Let's see. December. Yeah. Typically, the pre-release reviews I don't even bother to look at all because it's either people who
Critics
are.
or
It's either people who are like immediately. Critics suck at rating shit. They overanalyze everything. On the lookout for a book score makes a high series. It's cool. Yeah, no, I mean that looks good.
Oh, dude, it looks so
Yeah.
fucking good.
I look
Holy
forward to
shit.
seeing him in a serious role because I mean, like I said, when I saw Punch Drunk Love, he did really good. So if he does the same, if it looks like how it is, I think he'll do pretty good. Yeah. And then, did you want to watch the trailer of The Lighthouse?
Huh? Oh, me?
is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's watch it. The Lighthouse trailer.
Yep. Let's fucking go.
That's
That looks so good.
that gives me a heavy black and white. God damn it! And then there were none vibe, like the old and then there were none
Yeah.
movie, just kind of like on an island strand. Yeah, that gives me a.
It's like I was telling him.
Was it good?
I had to sit and think about like every movie like that, but like I was telling him, I think you kind of missed it when I was saying it. If you look past, because I know a lot of people don't look at, like they're like, oh, it's got the heavy accent. I can't look past that because a lot of people stop that. Like
Oh, no, I thought it sounded good. It sounded
okay,
authentic
cool,
to me.
Cool. Well, I know a lot of people are like The Witch. It was really heavy English, like "Thus thine speaketh tongue." Like they don't like.
Do you know
that.
how dumb you have to be to like not appreciate that?
I know, but
Like,
just a
that's
lot of
fucking insane
people
to me.
like. I hate that some people stop there because I'm like, you need to appreciate a good movie. Like you got to look past it.
Well, if it's like goofy sounding, like it's not realistic.
Well,
but if it's like real, I'm sure that they did like their research, and I'm sure
Oh, he did.
the English of that was probably like to a T what
Yep.
it was then. So why would you not want the most
Well,
accurate?
Yeah.
Thing
Again,
from the, like-
I was telling him Robert Eggers in The Witch and also The Lighthouse took texts from that time era and researched the slang and how they used like words, and they used. There weren't stories that he used, but he like how they would talk. He used it from actual texts from like the 1800s or
Yeah, that's
like The
badass.
Witch. Like it's funny when I went to Massachusetts, the Witch Museum gave Robert Eggers like his own not store, but like they had the poster of the Witch signed by him and pictures with the Witch Museum owners. and they were thanking him for keeping like that time and like the slang and like the witch looks, like the outlook on witch is very historically accurate. Like they don't thank anyone, like not even people that made the movie, the Crucible movie, like they don't thank anyone else but Robert Eggers. He's that good. Like I can appreciate someone that does very good research like on movies. It's
from what it's looking like is just A24 just destroys.
I probably talk
Just
way too much
destroyers.
about him to where people are like, I'm like the Joe Rogan with DMT on this podcast. Like I just
Yeah.
plug A24 every podcast, but I can't help it. They're good.
Well, I like it.
God, I
Not
wanna see
not
that
only
movie now,
does he
too.
do
That
like
looks stupid good.
not only does he do like really cool like original stories, but I like how they're also timepieces too.
Oh, yeah.
Like because like that like he didn't, I don't know, he could have made a cool story, but he's like, no, I'm gonna do this fucking specific ass profession from a lighthouse in the 1890s.
Yeah.
Like that's, I don't know. And then like his previous one was very specific.
The
Witch.
cinematography of that
Folklore,
looked
yeah.
insane too. It looked like really unique.
I
Like,
was-
where
I
like
was-
the waves are crashing, it almost looked like comic-esque, like the way that it was kind of going around and stuff. And then when it was like going through the window, it didn't look like a real thing, but it just looked. I don't know. It looked weird to me. Like it just looked interesting.
Well, I was telling him the way you watched that just now, where like they had the black bars on the side. It shot the whole movie like that. And when the movie started, me and Lena were like, "Why is it like? Is this just the way it's?" But it was the way it was shot. But with that small little window frame you have watching the movie, they get so much done. Like it's all about like point of view in that movie, and they do it so good. Like both Robert Eggers and Ari Aster have a great eye for like view points, and whoever like wherever they went to school, they did it. Like please focus on these people. Like please, A24 is doing God's work with these.
Yeah, that
directors.
looks so good.
It's
My first reaction, like I'm sitting there and I just see like that mute, like the Uncut Gems one. The fucking music hits. And I'm like, all right, you got me. Music art just hits you in the fucking mouth, and then it's like A24, and I'm like, what? This doesn't look like a horror movie. And I see Adam Sandler, and I'm like, okay,
Fucking
like,
wild
literally,
ride.
this is just like my wildest fucking sick
Oh, yeah.
sexual fantasy.
like the lighthouse, like the like the da 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 da, like,
Yeah.
but it's like creepy. Like it's how the hell did they make that shit creepy? Like a
Seafarers.
Yeah, you're like but,
Music.
dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's
I know. Fucking A24 has got their shit down, man. I like it because, kind of like we were talking earlier, like they give these more indie artsy people, these directors that have more of an eye for cinematography and plot structure than, I'm here, let me sell you this blockbuster. And I really like that a lot because it puts more emphasis on telling a good story and also showing you a good story, as opposed to, like you said, hey, let me go watch Fast and Furious 12 and watch a car explode.
Now,
Like,
don't get me wrong, A24's put out some movies I don't like.
oh, I'm sure. I mean, everyone
does.
I wonder what. Let's see what some movies A24.
They
have done.
It Follows.
You said this last time.
I get this mixed up every time. It's something like that. It Comes at Night. That movie. I did not like that movie at all. I never saw mid-90s either.
Mid-90s. Jonah Hill. Like they let Jonah Hill direct that, which is pretty fucking cool.
Lady Bird.
I could
Oh,
him doing a
eighth
good
grade.
job.
Hey, that's that. I think this is that one that Bo Burnham directed or wrote or something.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Hang on, let me. 8th grade.
I don't know. I mean, that's just crazy how they.
Yeah, Bo Burnham. Like they let Bo Burnham direct a movie.
Hell yeah.
And Bo Burnham's a fucking genius. So, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know how you can go from Hereditary and Midsummer.
They
to
direct all kinds of
fucking-
movies, or not direct. They sponsor all sorts of movies, dude.
Native Son.
I think someone was telling me that The Killing of a Sacred Deer
That's
was really good.
That's on my watch. I'm glad you said that.
I think
need
it
to
was
write that
Chandler
down.
that said that.
Yeah,
he
I think
really
so
liked
too.
that one.
It's-
And Disaster Artist right here,
Yeah.
like movie about the room. It's
I'm
pretty.
so glad you said. Oh, The Green Room. That's a great movie too.
I hear Ex Machina is really. I've never seen it, but I hear
Swiss
that's pretty
Army
good.
Man is hilarious. That movie's weird. It's weird and.
Oh, hey, your movie Room that you liked. I guess I didn't realize that was.
Oh, that's A24 too. Yeah, like
There we
I
go.
said, 93% on Rotten
Dude, they
Tomatoes.
got their fucking
Oh, I'm
shit
telling
down.
Oh, they had an Amy Winehouse documentary.
Interesting. Yeah, see, like you said, hit and miss.
Tusk? What? I didn't know Tusk was on there either.
The cap. Yeah, see, I don't know some of these.
Is that Ryan Reynolds?
That's
Yeah, it is Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I thought that was Tom Cruise at first.
Yeah. So I mean, like, shit, they've got a lot of really good movies.
Oh yeah, dude.
But okay.
So good.
Yeah, no, I wanted okay.
And I still haven't seen The Witch. I've heard it's really good.
Great movie. Yeah.
Is it better than Hereditary? That was like the big
I wouldn't-
debate
I
at
wouldn't
the
say
time was
so.
whether it was better than Hereditary. I thought Hereditary was just too damn good though. So
It's
I don't know.
weird. So like, again, it just depends on your preference. Like, Hereditary is another kind of horror movie. I mean, it's different. It just depends on what you like. Like, that's all I can. That's
Well, I think. I mean, I haven't seen it, but from the previews and stuff, and just the
Talking
idea
about
of
Hereditary?
it, no,
The
of
Witch?
The Witch. It seems like one of the movies I would like too. Just like real slow build, real suspense,
slow burn as hell.
real fucking like dark, quiet talking, fucking like you're putting the story together the whole time.
the
and then it
music
just, like,
and suspense in The Witch. Like, I remember I saw it with Lainey, and it's immediately how I found out about this movie. This is the very first A24 movie I ever saw. I saw the poster, and it was a goat, and it just said The Witch, and it was like with 2 V's. I was like, And then apparently a lot of the Satanic Temple in Salem was wanting a first showing ever there, and I was like, okay, this is building up pretty big. So, and I'm like, let me just do my research. And so come to find out, the closest viewing I could watch it at was the Firewheel Theater. And I was like, interesting. So I went and saw it. This is giving me bad vibes. I'm like, ooh, this is probably a bad movie.
like it's gonna be a shitty movie.
Shitty movie.
Okay.
And by the time I leave out of there, I looked at Lainey and I was like, this is refreshing to watch. And I was like, it makes me have hope for horror movies in the future. Because at the time, Paranormal Activity 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 was happening. And I'm like, and I'm like, I'm so sick of it. And I'm like, I will follow this dude for however many movies he makes. I fuck with him. And then Hereditary came out. And, you know, again, to answer your question, it's apples to oranges. It's just 2 different kinds of horror. It really is.
Yeah.
Hereditary is a very good modern horror movie.
Yes, I agree.
I think I think it's the pinnacle of modern horror at the moment in our decade.
Yes.
I think
Well,
it's,
Midsummer is like the same.
Yes.
It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like this underlying theme. Like the way that the shots are constructed, like what scares people, I think people are starting to realize now is a lot different than it was back then.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to scare people with like monster like jump scare type shit, or like, and if you are, it's like very like sparsely and creatively put out. It's not going to
jump scares need to be like jump scares.
Well, there's like some mild jump scares in Hereditary.
Barely.
Like,
It's all because of the music, though. The jump scares are for the music.
well, yeah. I mean, like towards the end of Hereditary, like when everything is hitting the fan, some of that stuff is kind of jump scary. Like whenever like people are
His
like
mom
flying,
runs.
yeah, or
The
stuff
mom
like that.
runs out of the corner,
or like
that's
when the
like-
girl's
yeah.
head got hit.
That wasn't
was
even
like,
a jump scare. See, that's a good point. Is that Hereditary executed it exactly because you saw what happened. You're like, that dread of knowing what the fuck happened or really knowing, and you had they were moving on. It had been like 2-3 minutes after that shot, maybe 2, and you're like, okay, oh my god, that's her head. And like, you know, you thought they were just grazing past what happened,
Right.
and then they just hit you with it. Dude, again, less is more. Like, it's so perfect. They know to just build it up and then like punch you with it. Like, it's so good.
It's like they take like a story that is fantastical and crazy, but they also like incorporate like real life emotions, like, and they and to an absolute fucking precise T. Like the whole after the girl died, like the family dynamic of like the guilt and the fucking
Crushing grief and
the
dread.
grief
Yep.
and the blaming and the fucking
we had talked about this.
it makes
when
you
we-
like your stomach uneasy. You're sitting there and it's
Dude.
just like the worst fucking shit.
That one scene where the mother is like having an emotional meltdown because of finding herself. Dude, literally, I was just sitting there like
Agonal.
I could barely watch. I was just like, dude, that's the biggest
Dude,
gut
the hair's
check.
almost standing up on my neck just thinking about
Oh,
it.
dude,
Yeah.
that was such a incredibly realistic. I think how someone would absolutely react if that's what they fucking found in their car. Like, I can't even picture what I would do, and like that, I feel like that's as good of a like as a motherfucking just.
both
having a mental breakdown.
Both female leads in Midsommar and Hereditary deserve an Oscar.
Oh, dude.
It's,
Yeah.
The way they picture dread is
Yeah.
The
God,
one
dude.
scene where she's like freaking out or whatever, and she's like, you know, like there was like some big tension. She's like, you know, you should have been never born or something like that. And it's just like, yeah, and it's like But they set it up where it's like a quiet room and it's just them talking and all the tension, and then she just says it and stops. And literally, like the first time I saw it in the theater, literally the whole crowd was like,
Yeah.
Like you can hear everyone like take a deep breath because it's like this real moment, like this crazy fucking shitty thing.
You can ask her right there. When I first saw Hereditary, I got up out of the seat and I had ass sweat through my pants. Right. Yeah. I'm not kidding. I was so nervous the whole movie. I sat up and Lainey's like, you left sweat marks on the chair. And like you have sweat marks on your pants. I was like,
I literally just got chills, dude. Like just
the movie was
thinking of
great.
Fucking,
They even released when like this is another good form of like promotion. They put out like heart rate diagrams of Hereditary screenings, and they were like, I'm like, okay, come on. But then like they were saying like, I mean, they were showing people watching it, and I'm like, really? And then when I watched it, I was like, this is the first movie that was 100% accurate on their diagram, like of because like when you see the Paranormal Activity, it's like look at the crowd reaction. They're all like freaking out, and it's like a dark view. But then, dude, Hereditary, I sat here most of the movie.
It's just
I
people,
sat here like
people
this.
that are just sitting there, just can barely take a deep breath because you're just like so tense.
Yeah.
And your heart rate's just fluttering, but it's not like you're freaking out. It's just like you're just like heart's beating. It's like the fight or flight is being triggered.
Yeah,
like seeing this shit. Like
just,
yeah.
I don't know, just kind of feeling the same dread that they would feel in the moment, or you being near that moment. Like
the best way to relate to the crowd is showing dysfunctional family. Like that's everyone's, I think, worst. They can relate to it or worst fear.
Yeah.
Like it's the stress of like because you can't. I mean, you live there and it's just there and it eventually implodes because it's your family. Like you deal with it every day, and no one deals with it, which is what she says in like Hereditary, because no one ever fucking admits when they're wrong. And like you're like, wow, this movie is self-aware and it's great. Like,
dude,
it's a good ass.
Just remembering all the
movie.
stuff is just it's so
it's
good.
Great.
It's insanely good.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it's like we were saying, it's like a new wave of horror movies.
I hope it's a new wave.
I hope so too, but I also think that there's always going to be like the summertime horror movie just to get like teenagers out to the movies, and it's just going to be some bullshit movie like. And I don't know. I mean, because
that's
going to be people
die.
that from these studios like A24 where like the emphasis is on the fucking art, and it's not about like, hey, what are we going to make that people are going to come out and watch the movie in mass during this?
Yeah.
Who's going to make the summer horror movie?
Who's
going to make the next like Paranormal Activity?
I'm pretty sure me and Lainey saw Midsummer for the first time with like 4 people like in the theater, and it was at IMAX. Like I was like,
well, that's even kind of creepier too.
Yeah.
That's
well, no, that made it great, but I was like,
ugh,
because people were just they like Child's Play was out, and I'm like, come on, like
yeah, that's the thing. That's why I really respect A24 because they're not in it for the money.
No,
they
want to make a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. And it's unfortunate, but because we talked about this a little bit in that second podcast when it was like me, Dub, and Chandler. Like people, I don't know. They have this thing about escapism in their head. They want to just go watch mindless drool because they don't want to be connected to reality in any way. And it fucking translates over into movies all the time. I mean, that's why things like Fast and Furious are so popular. You just want to fucking tune out and just sit there and, be a mindless idiot in front of the TV or the movie screen. I don't know. People don't like, and then like that, like when you go and you watch a dumb fucking horror movie, you're not gonna like walk away. Like when I walk away from Friday the 13th, I'm not like,
you don't gain anything.
Yeah, I'm not like, man, that really made me like think. It was like that was kind of like a fun movie to watch. No one wants to walk away. A lot of people don't want to walk away from the theater with like that sense of kind of disgust and disturbance that you feel from walking out of Midsummer or Hereditary.
Oh yeah, it's just you carry it with you.
And then something else is that a lot of people aren't going to really think on it all that hard. They're going to walk away from like the everyday moviegoer is going to walk away from Midsummer and be like, well, that was fucking dumb. Why the fuck did that? And then never think about it again. Just be like, that was the worst movie I've ever seen, and then go home. And like,
I also hate
not think about the underlying tones.
Amazon labels. I'm pretty sure they labeled Midsummer in the genre of art house, and I'm like, fuck that. That's so dumb.
What is that?
Art house is like artsy indie movies, like movies that like probably have they're avant-garde, like they're just kind of there.
Oh well, I mean, I would see it that way, but it's just a really good one.
But like,
I see it as pretty avant-garde. It's pretty out there.
Maybe because I'm like a genre, like I hate genres, like I hate labeling.
Why
things
did you?
like
There's
that.
no reason to even put it.
Well,
try to put it in.
It is pretty hard to put that movie in a genre, but I think just making it simple would be the correct way to do it. Don't like art house. Like people tend to like not gravitate it when you call it art house. Like they only called it art house because of the flowers and daytime. Like sure, yeah, it's a different horror movie, but just call it a horror movie. Like
Yeah,
you know,
I wouldn't think
like
of
the
it-
Lighthouse. It's labeled science fiction.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why the fuck it's
maybe,
labeled science
maybe
fiction.
they just have poor.
It's on Amazon. It's on. I'm pretty sure it's on IMDb. You can check that. But they labeled it science fiction.
Well,
and
Well, does something happen? Okay, well,
it doesn't
I
give
don't
it
want any
away.
Spoilers.
I promise you, after seeing it, should not be.
Well,
called science
you know,
fiction.
when my
Okay.
music gets put on Amazon, it labels it as folk music.
Oh.
So I mean, maybe they just suck at classifying things.
Apologizing to Robert Eggers if he wanted it to be labeled science fiction, but I don't think it's science fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no like space or science type shit in there, I don't. See...
Well, a lot of people connected it to Lovecraftian horror.
Oh, okay.
Which
That's badass.
What is
H.P. Lovecraft. So he was a writer in the early 1900s who wrote Cthulhu. Like he wrote very atmospheric. He was like the writer of most cosmic horror monsters. Like he was like the original guy. Like it's hard to summarize him in one thing, but he's.
I
have some
it's
books
difficult.
actually, if you want to borrow that he wrote.
He has some crazy fucking creatures that he wrote about.
Insanely, dude,
Like there's
just
this thing that's like a fuck. I don't even know. It
Look
is
up his
like,
monsters. Look up his monsters.
Yeah, H.P. Lovecraft.
H.R. Geiger, the guy that did the Xenomorphs art, he wrote art based on his stories, and they're fucking insane. Like,
yeah, because like
look up H.R. Geiger. H.P. Lovecraft.
Was this guy? So he was not a.
He was a writer.
He was a writer.
H.P. Lovecraft was a writer, and then
what was it? H.R. Geiger.
H.R. Geiger, H.P. Lovecraft. It's H.R. Geiger Lovecraft art. There you go. He did the cover for the books that he has.
Oh well, that was just about to be my question. Like, who came up with the actual schematics of what he was describing?
He's very in depth about his creatures.
Okay.
Like his whole writing process is him being really descriptive, very atmospheric, very suspense building. Like if you wanted to read a good, like if there's a good horror movie that should be made, it should be based off Lovecraft. But the thing is, a lot of people like to connect like anything with Lovecraft, and that's kind of a problem. Like it's like, oh, it's about an octopus, it's about Cthulhu, or oh, it's about a witch, it's about the Dunwich Horror, which is a story written by H.P. Lovecraft. But
I don't know his genre. It's really hard to describe, but I know what you're talking about. Kind of like the second you say Lovecraft, I know my mind goes exactly to like that thing. But I don't know. It's weird because like I think of Cthulhu, I think of like kind of in the myths, like myths. Like I don't know. It's weird.
Like I said, like they only connect it because it's the sea.
Well, can you can you click on that cosmicism? Because whenever you say cosmic, I'm not really sure like what that means in terms of. Like,
okay, well there are some creatures that like this one thing is like an embodiment of a universe or some fucking crazy shit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
For those who listened through that weird moment of silence, basically it's the philosophy is there is no recognizable divine presence such as God in the universe, and that humans are particularly insignificant in the larger scheme of intergalactic existence. Most of the prominent theme is humanity's fear of their insignificance and in the face of incomprehensibly large universe, a fear of cosmic void. A fear of the cosmic void. Okay, yeah, but I want to see if I can figure out this fucking H.P. Lovecraft creatures, because there's this one that I've read about, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Shoggoth.
Yeah, so there's Cthulhu, which is like the most famous one, I think.
A lot of D&D is based off of H.P. Lovecraft too.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, he started the whole creature like description. Like he didn't ever have art in his books, but I mean, he was like underappreciated when he came out, and a lot of people described it as just crazy, like whatever. But then as people researched more, like they're like, dude, this is underappreciated. Like what the fuck? Like, and eventually people started making art and then like making books and then more movies off the creatures because it deserves that. Like it's just really good,
dude. Talking about all this shit is fucking getting my damn dick hard for just geeking out on all this like horror fucking old horror, new like good stuff, like old horror, new horror, like what inspired what, like and like going behind the scenes of like how people created it and whatnot. Like
he actually wrote a book called the Necronomicon that is
he wrote that?
Literally a Bible about his creatures. It's like a descriptive story on how and where they come from.
I thought the Necronomicon was like something different. Like
it's from the movie Evil Dead has a book called the Necronomicon.
That's what I'm thinking
which is different. But the movie, like the book itself, is different. It's H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, I think it's this thing. That sounds familiar.
That sounds familiar. It's like
diarrhea.
Never mind. Fucking hell.
Deindra.
But yeah, dude. Seriously, I'll let you borrow. I have 2 volumes of his like short stories. Call of Cthulhu is like his biggest one. Because Cthulhu, everyone knows like Cthulhu. Like if you know Lovecraft, you know Cthulhu. It's like the octopus monster.
Yeah, like I've heard that name before. I just didn't know the Lovecraft guy.
Dunwich Horror was written when he was in Massachusetts.
I feel like I've heard of that too. I feel like I've heard Joe Rogan talk about that.
That's like one of his like top 2 stories. Top 2 like what most known is Call of Cthulhu and the Dunwich Horror. Very good read. If you like in depth, like
when you say short story,
I say short stories.
How long are
He's written a lot of like the Necronomicon is a book, but like I bought 2 books at Barnes and Nobles. That's like his stories in a collection, and like because some of them are short, but then some of them are really long. It's just weird. Like it's a collection of stories.
Like how long is the Cthulhu one?
It's pretty long. The books I have are like they're only like that thick. But like again, it's a collection of stories. Like Cthulhu might take up like most of the book, but then there's like random short stories or like random, like kind of like Edgar Allan Poe, like how he kind of wrote some stories.
They're kind of like poems.
Not poems. They're stories, but like some are short, some are long, and then some are just descriptions of where the monsters came from.
I struggle to understand the line between poem and story because like
poem has a rhythm to it.
Well, no, it doesn't. That's the thing. Like some of them don't. Like they're like the Odyssey is an epic poem, and it's not written. It doesn't rhyme at all.
That's true.
And it's just like a long story.
I hated that part of English. As much as Greek mythology is very interesting, it's just kind of like once you get into the whole that part of poems and stuff, I feel like it's just kind of complicated.
Huh? I don't know what the fuck that is. Okay, so
okay, are they making noises?
I think they're playing. Yeah, they're playing like video games.
Okay, I'm like I keep hearing fucking noises, and I'm about to lose my fucking mind.
So I guess an epic. It says here an epic is an extended narrative poem in elevated or dignified language celebrating the feats of a deity or demigod or other legendary or traditional hero, while a novel is whatever. That's weird. What a weird.
Yeah, but like look up what a poem that doesn't rhyme. Like it's just like a story. I don't know what like I said, I don't know what the fucking difference is. It doesn't make sense. Or just do poem that does like
just poem that doesn't rhyme.
It's a story.
Free verse poems do not follow the rules and have no rhyme or rhythm, but they are still an artistic expression. They are sometimes thought to be a modern form of poetry, but the free verse types of poem have been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah, so it's like you can literally just call anything written down a poem.
Sure.
Technically. Like if you wanted to be really quirky, you could just write a story and say like free verse poem or something, and no one could say you're not right. It's just fucking some different way to call it.
Why are some stories poems? What is the difference between poetry and a short story?
Yeah,
it seems like a weird line.
It's baloney. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I remember in like going from like middle school to high school, like when you get into this section of poems briefly, it's weird. Like I always got confused too because I never knew the difference. Like obviously there's a difference between Edgar Allan Poe and, like you said, the Odyssey.
Right.
Like Edgar Allan Poe's.
Exactly.
I think Edgar maybe had like 1 or 2 that didn't rhyme that I don't know about, but like the Tall Tale Heart or Telltale Heart, like that one rhymes. But like I never understood in English. They would always explain, like they'd say like, well, it's narrative or it's the subject matter. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
That doesn't answer anything. Like,
even
I don't
this is
know.
basically saying the
Yeah.
difference is kind of hard to distinguish.
Basically, being a hipster.
Yeah, it's whatever the person called it is the only difference between that and just a story.
Well, I now understand the epic thing. The epic makes sense, but the still the distinction between poem and short story. Like, okay, this one, this right here says that like a poem, that's long focuses more on like themes and messages, whereas a short story focuses more on trying to build characters and theme. So
like, okay, is Hamlet a poem? Well, I guess that's written in iambic pentameter. That's like I think that is technically a poem.
Written
right?
in what?
iambic pentameter, it's what Shakespeare wrote in.
Oh.
It's like one of the most difficult forms of poetry to write.
Yeah, what is it? It's like it has to do with like syllables, right?
Stressed and unstressed syllables.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's fucking goofy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But everything isn't everything that Shakespeare wrote.
I don't know if
in
it's everything, but like most of what he wrote was in iambic pentameter. Like it was.
Yeah. But isn't that's technically poet? Like that is a poem, right? Like Hamlet.
Well, they were plays, so I don't know if they were. He wrote poems.
Hamlet is a play.
Yeah, he wrote poems. But the plays were plays.
It's fucking weird, dude.
Anyways, but yeah, but at least the epic
Such a
makes
big
sense.
gray
So
area.
the epic is about a deity, and it's like the story about like a legend or a myth or a deity, which that makes sense. Like the Epic of Gilgamesh.
So is the Bible an epic?
Oh.
I don't
what?
fucking know. That's a good one.
I think so. To answer that quickly, I think
Is
so.
the Bible an epic?
Shut up, boomer.
Is the Bible an epic? Oh my god.
Honestly, though,
Boomer searches.
You're onto something, though, Zach. Like
What is the difference between the Bible and an epic poem?
that's something to tell like your super Christian dad, and he's like, "Shut up."
Well, I mean,
Well, for one, Jesus wrote it.
I think
For
the
one, on the stones of the.
I think the main difference, what people would probably say, is that this is a religious text. So, I mean, if you take it in the sense of, is it just a story? Then yeah, I guess it would technically be an epic.
Jesus
boomer.
paid his way through college and still financed
said,
a
"Lace
house
up."
at 23.
Lace up your robe straps.
Jesus Christ. Dimensional
Zoo.
Shambler? The fuck is that?
You're just going back to the Lovecraft thing?
I want to figure out what the fuck this creature, because it was super weird, but it was like
If
really
you want
cool
a fun,
too.
if you want a fun time killer, just dive into H.P. Lovecraft lore. It is.
I don't know if I have enough brain power.
Oh, dude, I feel like I have a grade point average of like negative, like when I read it. But it's like once you get to like just the descriptions of monsters, it's so fucking sick. Like I love it. I don't read too often, but when it comes to like horror anything or like creature anything, I fuck with it so bad.
You should I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Joe Rogan just had Rick Baker.
The guy that created the American Werewolf.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
Like just kind of from that perspective of like how they create those things and whatnot. And all that.
You know what? I did. I watched the part where they talk about Nosferatu, where they talk about how another fun thing. I was just telling him, Robert Eggers is making a Nosferatu movie.
I don't even know what I've seen like the little
silent
like.
film.
No, well, yeah, I haven't seen that.
Right.
I've seen
I
I think I've seen like the face of what Nosferatu was.
It's like the very first vampire movie ever made, and it's just creepy. Like it's been actually Willem Dafoe actually played Nosferatu in a movie once, and
What the
shit?
fuck? God damn it. Fucking ad. Okay, yep. Yep. Here we go.
Adpocalypse.
It's just like porn.
I don't know about. I've never even seen porn, so I don't know. What is that? I'm a God-fearing child.
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Elder things.
I respect women. I don't watch porn.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, masturbator. Master boomer.
Oh my god.
I can't wait to see that whole bit that was recorded.
Yeah, I definitely got all of that on.
I want
the
a copy
recording.
of it.
Yeah, I can't find what the fuck this creature was, but it was really cool. That's all I need. That's all I need.
What
to
was
know.
it like?
Boomers.
It was like this giant fucking floating ball, and it like I don't remember.
Was it an
The
eyeball?
sun. Was it the sun?
I
Was
don't
it like
think
a floating eyeball?
I don't think it was an eyeball, but it was like this weird floating creature that I don't know. It knew everything about the universe, or it had. I don't know.
God.
Hold on, wait a minute. I might answer your question
Because I saw it on like a fucking post on Reddit once.
Did it look like this?
No, I don't think so.
Damn it! I was hoping.
I don't think it had a giant eye. It
You
literally
just
looked like
happen
this.
to have that picture.
No,
like,
I really did.
One
Like it was
picture
like
down from your recents.
No, I was like, I always thought that shit. I always save like cool like art shit I find on like. Sorry.
Yeah, there it is. It's just like pussies shit. It's like, this is art.
No, I don't mean that. I
Oh
mean
my
like
God.
creature shit,
This is-
horror movie shit.
This
Dude.
is erotic art.
Here's a cute picture from the wedding. Here's a Lovecraft creature. Here's a pussy monster.
The pussy monster.
Here's a dick with 4 eyes.
It's called hentai.
You can tell me that ain't art?
It's called hentai.
It's beautiful.
And it's art.
It's art.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
All right, guys. Well, it's midnight, so it's probably
it's
probably time to wrap
pull
this
the plug
up.
on it.
What a fun podcast.
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah, it
good.
was
We had a lot of good talk.
We were originally going to talk about comedy movies, and I'm glad we didn't because that was great conversations.
Yeah, literally, like I said, just one talking point, and then just spitballs into fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know what land we're in now, but here we are. All right, well, fucking thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Modern Goonies podcast. Like I said, we're gonna try to go back to the bi-weekly thing. Sorry that we took so long off, but yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye, Boomer. That was a weak vape hit.